Elton John and Kiki D. Don't Go Breaking My Heart.
This is Superstation 101.1 FM, WVWP-LP, Wayne, West Virginia. We are Superstation 101.1 FM.
Is an exclusive presentation of Wayne County's Sports Voice, Sports Radio 90.7, WFGH, Fort Gay. It's time to look at tonight's high school football matchup with Countdown to Kickoff, featuring an in-depth preview of tonight's contest and comments from both coaches. Let's go to the field and start the Countdown to Kickoff on Sports Radio 90.7, WFGH.
And good evening, everyone, from Winfield High School in Winfield, West Virginia. Tim Carper along with Ryan Epling bringing you Pioneer football on this absolutely gorgeous September Friday night here in West Virginia. Ryan, couldn't get much better football weather. Well, unless you like it cold, but this is perfect.
Well, if you like it cold, it's going to get a little chilly once the sun goes down. Right. But it's a perfect weather. We got a bright sun out, sun setting here in Putnam County and on the banks of the Kanawha River. We are a few minutes away from what we expect to be a very good football game tonight between two of the Cardinal Conference's best teams.
Absolutely. Last year, of course, Winfield won this football game and won it, I wouldn't say convincingly. They scored 21 points in the first quarter, went on to, I think it was 28-7, maybe, something like that. I wrote it down somewhere.
It was 27-14.
And you're right.
If you'll remember, and the games all run together for us older people, so I understand. But if you'll remember, Winfield scored boom, boom, boom. It was 21-0 first quarter. Wayne got it down to 21-14 and had the ball when Grady Spradlin, who was the starting quarterback last year, got hurt.
Yep.
And so Wayne had the ball, the chance to tie or potentially win the game late. Wayne was stopped on downs, and then Winfield was able to pop a touchdown late in the fourth quarter, that one, to put it away. That game ended up being very competitive. The last three quarters of that game, Wayne outplayed Winfield.
Absolutely.
But the first quarter, Winfield was very dominating, so it takes all four to win it.
That's right, and that was a Winfield team that went a couple games deep in the playoffs last year. Come into this game ranked number 11 in the latest rankings that I saw anyway on Metro News, and they are 2-1 on the season. They won 2 in a row after just getting absolutely plastered by, and no shame in getting beat by Hurricane, that's for sure. But they got beat 63-0 in that opening round. Of course, I think that Hurricane game, the new legislative laws may had something to do with that. Would you? I'll say the quiet part out loud.
Yeah,
I think that had a whole lot to do with what happened.
I'll tell you a little bit more too. That I don't know their personnel that well, but none of the starters for Hurricane this year live in Hurricane. Yeah, but they lost to George Washington last week. So, sometimes you can put all the talent together, but if you're not playing well, you're not cohesive. And honestly, some schools, GW has its fair share of transfers as well. But
sure.
Team chemistry means a whole lot.
It does. But after that first week loss to Hurricane, the Generals bounced back, picked up 2 consecutive wins in the Cardinal Conference. They beat Hoover 35-22. Last week they shut out Chapmanville 28-0. Wayne comes in at 1-1. They beat Tulsa their first game of the year. Of course, that was a 42-0 shellacking that was right here. And then, that game against Scott, I say last week, it was actually 2 weeks ago. We've had a bye week. 26-16 really doesn't give you the measure of how tight that game was, because it was 19-16, and Wayne had the football driving. A late score on a kind of a trick play made it the final score seem a little bigger than what it was.
Yeah, that was the game that Wayne took the lead with 7 minutes left.
Right.
Scott was able to get a good kickoff return, march down the field, and score. And, Wayne had a little bit of a drive coming back the opposite way, but unable to finish it off. And Scott, on a quarterback sneak, Matt Fry is an exceptional athlete.
Yeah.
He took about a step forward, backed up, and ran around the end, and everybody was collapsed in the middle, and he went untouched.
Absolutely expecting. Well, it was fourth and one, and everyone was expecting quarterback sneak, and he executed the quarterback counter draw or whatever he went in
from under center.
It was pretty impressive, but nonetheless, still a loss for Coach Tom Harmon's squad. They come in at 1-1. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk with Coach Tom Harmon, Coach Eddie Smolder, and set the stage for you as the Wayne Pioneers set to do battle with the Winfield Generals, and you're hearing it all right here on the Gridiron Sports Network.
This football broadcast is brought to you in part by our fine community partner, Rustic Ravines. Joe and the gang will be hosting their world-famous all-you-can-eat dinner buffet Saturday, September 3rd from 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Rustic Ravines can be found on Facebook, or their phone number is 304-385-1085. Rustic Ravines, a proud community partner of Pioneer Football.
The real non-steel. From the 60s. 3, 2, 1, 0. Godspeed, John Glenn. Oh, that view is tremendous. We choose to go to the moon. To be self-evident that all men are created equal. Ask what you can do to your country. Only Congress has the power to declare war. Something has happened in the motorcade route. Something, I repeat, has happened in the motorcade route. The answer is blowing away.
30 million persons found themselves without light, subways, elevators, air conditioning. Where were you when the light went out?
Oh, yeah. Tell you something. Oh, the times they are changing.
But it really doesn't matter with me now, because I've been to the mountaintop.
To the war in Vietnam. I am ready to lead our country. Now it's the same old song. Why don't you jump with me, little girl, on a bed of trouble right? You got live from the 60s.
And yours truly.
Real non-steel.
Yeah. Live from the 60s, Monday at 7 on WFGH. You're listening to high school football action on 90.7 WFGH.
Welcome back into Pioneer Football. Talking with Coach Tom Harmon. Coach, a week off early in the season. Is that good for you to have that week off?
Honestly, I don't like a week off anytime, but I guess if I had a preference, it'd be the week after a bunch of injuries, but you don't get to pick that. So, early, I just didn't get it out of the way.
Let's talk about your last game with Scott. I thought your team played well. I thought they played hard. Scott's a pretty good football club, but I thought defensively you did some very good things. Offensively, you moved the ball.
Yeah, it was one of those things where, we were playing a good football team. Every mistake you make is exacerbated, and the big thing with us is I think we're good enough to pretty much beat any team we play on our regular season schedule, and I also think we're bad enough to lose to any team we have on our schedule. So when you're playing those topper ranked teams with a lot of veterans, they won a lot of football games with those kids. Those mistakes get they really get you at the end. So, after we go back and look at it and stuff, we felt pretty good about the situation where we can control our own destiny if we clean some things up.
Let's talk about this Winfield team. Talk about an experienced club. It seems like the quarterback's been there forever, and a pretty good ball club. They do a lot of things, and they like to do it well.
Well, one thing you always know about Winfield, they're going to have athletes, and pretty much every position they're going to be probably a little bit taller than our guys, probably weigh a little bit more, maybe be a step faster, but, that just makes what you do be all that more important. So, that when you play Winfield, they're well coached, and they're not going to do a lot of things to beat themselves, so you got to go make plays.
Of course, they went a couple games deep in the playoffs last year, but that was last year. Does that play any factor at all this year?
Well, I think it does from they're not they're not still trying to convince their kids they're good. They're kind of they kind of know they are. So, there's some bad things that come with that as well. So, we're trying to get to the point where I think our kids think we're pretty good, but I think it's that's a little bit different than convincing a team that thinks they're pretty good, and you make them feel differently. But it's all about how you play the game. And I had the kids grade their own film last week, and of all the plays out there, we had 87 what we call negatives. Might be something small, but we need to get that number down. We start getting that number down, we'll play better.
What do you know about Winfield? What are they going to try to do to you tonight?
Well, I think they're a run-first team, but to say that's all they can do would be an understatement. They're able to throw the ball and run the ball. Defensively, they truly do really come after you. They got athletes on the back end, some decent size up front, and chase the ball really well. So it's not going to be one of those things where you're going to trick them a lot. They're going to be in the way, and you got to get them out of the way.
What do you have to do defensively, especially against this team? Do you need to force them into passing situations, or what would you like to do?
Defensively, you'd like to be able to play with 7 in the box to be able to get the job done, because it makes it a little bit safer on the back end. But we're going to have to mix up what we do and make sure that we're a step ahead of them. And you'd like to not have to blitz to do those things. So hopefully we can do it without blitz and get a little pressure without it.
Offensively, you've been relatively balanced in your attack. I think you ran the ball a little bit more last week but you took what Scott gave you. Is that something you want to do tonight? Is to be more balanced than you have?
Yeah, we would be perfectly fine running any play in our offense to get the ball in the end zone. But the key thing that we've kind of preached to them the last couple of weeks here is no matter how well you play offensively, it's how many times you can put the ball across the goal line. Right. And when we do have good drives, we need to finish them with touchdowns or get some points out of it. But the big thing is, like you said, if we're playing off, we need to run the ball. If we're playing back, we need to run the ball. So they know that too. So we'll figure it out when we get out there.
One aspect of the game a lot of folks don't really think much about, I think, is special teams. I think your special teams has played relatively well this season. Is that something you work on a great deal, or I know you have to work on it?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Third of the game, I'm not so sure about that. But I think so much of it is personnel. You got kids that can catch balls and return balls. You're probably going to be a little bit better on your return teams. If you're fortunate enough to find the kicker, your kicking game is going to look a whole lot better. It's not like you can spend a whole lot of time developing that. You try, but we are fortunate this year. We've got E-Steps did a nice job kicking for us, and then when you punt or kick it to us, we have some guys that can do a little bit with it.
A couple things you got to do well not to beat the Generals, Coach.
Well, as usual, we did knock on wood, we did a pretty good job of take care of the football. And when we do get those good drives together, be able to finish them with, athletic plays. And that's going to be tough to do, against an athletic team.
Coach, good luck to you tonight.
Thank you.
Coach Tom Harmon, the Wayne Pioneers. We'll be back in a couple of moments to the Gridiron Sports Network.
Sports Network is brought to you by our valued community partner, Rustic Ravines. Here's what the Evans family had to say about their experience.
We had the best time. Everyone was friendly, professional, and made us feel welcomed. We rented a side-by-side for a 5-hour ride with our guide through the beautiful mountains of West Virginia. We highly recommend, and we'll be back.
Rustic Ravines can be found on Facebook, or their phone number is 304-385-1085.
I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an
expert, and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
Enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
As we recognize the service of America's men and women in uniform, let's also honor the families who sacrifice so much every day. Military families endure frequent deployments and separations. They carry on while their loved ones are sent into harm's way and wait patiently for their safe return. If you really want to honor a veteran, look for ways to support their families and thank them for their sacrifices.
You're listening to high school football action on 90.7 WFGH.
Welcome back into the Gridiron Sports Network, Pioneer Football. Talking Coach Eddie Smolder. Coach, I know you had a tough first game against a very, very tough opponent, so you kind of forget about that one, but the last 2 weeks you have played extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember the first week, to be honest with you. We put that in the past. Last 2 weeks we've played pretty decent, and we're just trying to get better, and tonight we hope we can improve on how we played last week.
Talk a little bit about Wayne. What do you know about them? What do you expect out of them?
Obviously, they're a good program. They've got a good coach and a good coaching staff, and they always play hard and physical, and, we're excited about that, and we're glad we got the opportunity to get after it.
I know it looks like you're pretty balanced in your offense. Maybe a run first, but you don't care a bit to throw it.
No, we'll just give what the defense gives us and do what we got to do to try to win the game.
A couple things you got to do tonight, Coach, to win this football game.
You always got to play great defense, and on offense, you got to protect the football, move the chains.
Coach, good luck to you tonight. Thanks for talking with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach Eddie Smolder of the Winfield Generals. We'll be back in a couple of moments. You're listening to Pioneer Football on the Gridiron Sports Network.
Silver and gold delivered to your door. There's a way for you to buy silver and gold just like the rich. Real silver, real gold you can hold in your hand. With a 7K Metals membership, your exclusive member benefits include accumulate silver and gold at market price fractionally, access to a sound money wallet where you can buy silver and gold incrementally, access to affordable group health care, 7K Advantage discounts and savings with over 800,000 ways to save at local restaurants, on big name brands, on travel and accommodations. Several other useful exclusive member benefits. Simply select one of the calendar buttons and choose a date for your appointment, and one of our associates will reach out to you. Your membership proudly supports the Superstation Network and Hazel's Wish. Visit superstationsilver.com to learn more.
This presentation of Pioneer Football is sponsored by Rustic Ravines. Rustic Ravines offers deluxe cabin rentals and special event planning, as well as some of the best ATV riding and hiking trails in the country. You'll also find kayaking and canoeing, a 3D bow range, fishing, hunting, golfing, and a pet and horse-friendly resort. Rustic Ravines can be found on Facebook or 304-385-1085. Get ready for all the exciting, hard-hitting sounds of the gridiron. High school football is on the air. Now, let's head to the stadium for all the play-by-play action on Sports Radio 90.7 WFGH.
Back here at Winfield High School, Tim Carper along with Ryan Epling. The band just finished a beautiful rendition of the national anthem. We've got a lot of folks out there in that band, Ryan. That's a big band.
Well, you can tell this is one of the largest AA schools in West Virginia. When the state goes to 4 classes, they will likely be in AAA at that point.
Right.
But, yeah, you talk about full football roster, good-sized band, majorettes, cheerleaders. There's a lot of participation in a Friday night, and you love to see that from a community.
Absolutely, and you see that in the stands as well. If every one of those kids have one parent out here, it would almost fill this lower section. And it's full. Of course, it's homecoming. Kind of got got hung up by the homecoming parade coming in, but made it through it just fine. But it is a homecoming weekend for those here at Winfield, and I tell you what, they're great folks here. I tell you what, the folks at Scott were absolutely tremendous to us, and I know you mentioned last week they're always that way, Joe Linville and the gang. But the folks here at Winfield have been accommodating in certain areas not so much, but that's okay. But they were very, very kind when I walked in. They saw the Wayne hat and still said hello and asked me how things were going. They were very nice. I'll put it that way.
We're in a friendly part of the country.
We are. I was a bit apprehensive when I took this job because I was very comfortable in my northeastern part of Kentucky, but I have found that, especially around the Wayne Cabell area, folks are just like they are back home, especially in the Wayne area. I mean, you folks I believe I could move there tomorrow and nobody ever know I was a transplant. It's awesome.
That's what I've always said. You fit right in. I think that's the best compliment we can give you.
I'll take it. I'll take it all day long. We're about ready for football. Let's talk a little bit about something that I was unaware of, but Ryan has learned that actually the normal starting quarterback for the Generals in Chase Massey, not available to them tonight.
He got hurt in that win over Chapmanville last week, and last week the Generals, Massey, who's a senior, 6'1", 165, a dual threat quarterback, they went to their backup quarterback and went to Jared Miller, a freshman, last week. Now in warm-ups, that's not who was taking the first team snaps. In warm-ups, it was Easton Pinkerton, who is a junior, 5'10", 165. So we'll see what Coach Smolder decides to go with. But Chase Massey is one of the better athletes in the Kanawha Valley, and he's a kid that I may be mistaken on this, but I don't think I am, because I believe Chris Massey is an assistant coach here at Winfield and played with Coach Smolder at Marshall. Chris Massey played in the NFL, and I believe that is Chase's father. So he's got good lineage. Chris Massey was a long snapper in the NFL, but for the St. Louis Rams, I think he even went to a Super Bowl. But nonetheless, good football lineage, and they will miss him tonight.
The Kurt
but
Warner
how much?
days? The Kurt Warner days?
Yeah.
Okay.
But how much will they miss him? That's the question, because this is an offense that a lot of double wing, very similar to what you're used to seeing from Wayne in years past. Coach Smolder has, at times, looked almost identical to Wayne with what they do offensively, some jet sweeps and things of that nature, some quarterback keys. They do a little bit more dive option type offense as well than what Wayne has done over the years. But, you're putting it in the hands of a young man making his first start tonight. So an experienced Wayne defense, I guess a young, inexperienced quarterback. See what happens.
Absolutely, but you take a look at the backs on that team, and K'Wan Pearson and Jace Miller, both seniors. I've called those names every year I've been broadcasting here at Wayne's. So they were playing when they were freshmen, and so they are very experienced, and they've got some game moxie, as it would be. So you never discount senior leadership, especially at the running back position. Although Massey could do all. He was definitely a dual threat quarterback. He reminded me quite a bit, actually. Last year reminded me of Matt Fry in that he had a great arm, but he was also very mobile and very shifty. And if that pocket collapsed, he had no problem getting out into open space and getting some yardage that way.
Yeah, and Easton Pinkerton might be the same way. We'll find out.
We never know.
We don't know.
Pinkerton, 5'10", 165, a little smaller, he's the same weight, but he's 3 inches smaller, so probably not as fast, I would not think, although that has nothing to do with it. Especially, I look at they've got one kid on this team that's listed as 5'2", 95 pounds. If he's playing football, I don't know how in the world he can carry the.
Well, I was just saying,
the shoulder pads around.
People who have known me know good and well. I have been a slightly built person for a long time. I didn't crack 100 pounds till I was in high school either, and I barely got over. I was like 115 when I graduated. I was just super skinny. At 95, and 5'2", I don't know how you get the equipment ready.
I don't know how you carry that much equipment on that frame.
He's got a strong neck.
I've been looking for him, and I don't see him down there. Maybe he might just be I don't know. He may just be a decoy on the roster, or he's a freshman. Who knows if he dresses out? But nonetheless, the captains Walking out for this one here tonight for Winfield, Luke Davis is a captain, along with Jace Miller, Kewan Pearson, and also Caleb Cole are your captains. For Wayne, trying to look across, I think I see Justin Perry out there for sure.
And there's also...
they're all behind us right now.
Yeah, I can see them as Zane Adkins, Rylan Murdoch, and Jackson Dameron.
So there's your captains for the Wayne Pioneers. Wayne will be wearing their road white uniforms with black numerals, black helmets, black pants. The numerals trimmed in red. Home uniforms for the Generals, green helmet, green tops with black pants, white numerals trimmed in black. Football is quite possibly the only sport in which the white jersey is not worn at home.
Yes.
Unless you're a Friday night in Cincinnati.
And even, now, the NHL changed that recently, but yeah, those City Connect uniforms for the Reds that are black, and I like the Reds, and it's an okay uniform, but they're the Reds.
Right.
Anyway.
It should be red.
But let me tell you, with the sun setting, it's a beautiful setting for football here tonight, just on the shore of the Kanawha River. Those white Wayne jerseys with the red W and black numbers, like, they pop tonight. They look sharp.
They look really good.
Hopefully they play sharp, too.
Winfield has won the toss. They've elected to receive and defend the goal to our right as we sit near the 50-yard line in the press box here at Winfield High School. Not a lot of room for. I mean, the room is okay, but I've never seen a table quite as skinny as this thing.
We have a countertop.
We do,
and that's okay.
And not a big countertop.
No.
But at least we have something to set our stuff on. So we're not going to complain.
No, they're, like you said, they've always been accommodating.
Absolutely.
Here, and this is a good setting for football, and we expect to have a good one tonight. This is, to me, this is a really big game for Wayne. If Wayne wants to be a playoff type team, a host for a playoff game type team, this is the kind of game you have to win in the regular season. If they don't, I mean, it's an uphill battle. Now, then you just look at just getting in. But right now, you'd like to get a home game.
One of the only, to my knowledge, two natural surfaces in the Cardinal Conference, Wayne and Winfield.
Yep.
And we're ready to kick it off. Here's Kate Eastep will put the boot to it. Kicks it up the middle of the field, taken by number 5, Trevon Tanner. He goes up the middle, across the 25, up across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. So a nice return there from about the 20 up to the 30. Let's see where they spotted. 32 looks like.
A little bit of a dangerous kick, too, because that was right down the middle of the field, fielded on a big hop. That gives the return man the entire field to run to.
Yep.
It makes it a little bit more difficult to defend, and it appeared that Trevon Tanner was picking up speed there right when he got tackled. He thought he saw a hole to run through.
Where that sun is, I believe I'd have put that bad boy as high in the air as I could. Because that sun is beating right down on him. So it looks like that Jared Miller is the quarterback right now, Ron, and they try a reverse right off the stick to give us to Pearson. And he's going to make first down yardage, but we do have a flag on the play back at the line of scrimmage, and generally speaking, that's a hold. So that one's probably coming back, and it is. Preliminary signal is a hold against the Generals.
Now, Easton Pinkerton's on the field, too, so we might see a little gamesmanship here at some point.
Possibly, but that negates a nice run by Pearson. And we'll bring up a 1st and 20 from back at the 22-yard line with the new penalty rules. That will be marked back from the original spot, not the spot of the foul, which I always found kind of weird, but nonetheless. NFHS doesn't ask for my opinion on anything anyway.
Now Pinkerton is under center this time.
So
we're going to have that tonight.
We're going to have that a hard count, trying to draw off the Wayne team. He's got one wide out to the near side. Double wings with a tailback directly behind him. Sends a man in motion. That's Pearson to the far side. They'll give it to him, and not much room. He might get a couple. He's coming in to make an early hit was Tristan Turner on that play. Also in on the stop was number 59, and I don't have a 59. Who's wearing 59?
I do not know.
Oh, well. We'll get that from Coach later on in the week.
Playing right over. He's playing nose guard tonight, too. Kind of a busy night.
Hand off right off the right side to Pearson once again. He gets to the edge, picks up about 8 or 9 as he's run out near the original line of scrimmage on the far side of the field. So that'll bring up 3rd and about 10. We'll check the spot. Yep, they're going to put him out right at the 32-yard line. So to bring up 3rd and 10. A passing situation just underway here in Winfield. 10:38 on an arrested clock because Pearson went out of bounds on that play. Easton Pinkerton appears now to be in shotgun formation with twins to the near side.
Go.
Single wide out to the far side. And Winfield is going to call a timeout and talk about this one. We'll keep it right here. Noticing the play clock do not seem to be working at the moment.
I saw that last week, or 2 weeks ago at Scott, and that game was on video productions. I had a chance to go back and look at it, and if you'll recall, Wayne got a big delayed game penalty on a 4th and 1, moved it back to 4th and 6. They gained 5 yards, came up a yard short. The ball was snapped on the prior play 42 seconds from when the flag was thrown. When you account for the time of the play that was run, it was about 5 seconds to 10 seconds shorter than what it should have been. And that caught Wayne off guard. I wanted to check that out because it was just it felt quick.
We said at the time it felt like an awful fast.
But I had no evidence. And now I have evidence.
Well, we'll just send that into the official association. But the play clocks are not working, so we'll have to rely on the officials for that. Twins to the near side, single wide out to the far side. Shotgun formation. Pinkerton rolls out to the near side, throws it out in the flats, intended that time for Pearson, falls incomplete, and that'll bring up a 4th and long situation. So a nice job by the Wayne defense early on this first drive, forcing a 3 and out, aided by that holding penalty on the first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, that call turned that entire drive around.
Absolutely.
Winfield had some momentum after a good run on first down, the opening play of the game, but now going to have to punt.
Punt formation, high wobbly kick that's short. Heads over to the far sideline, and it's going to go out of bounds, and this is where the official holds up his hand and starts walking until he somehow finds an invisible spot that the ball went out of bounds on the air, and they're going to say at the 44-yard line of the Pioneers. So a short kick of 26 yards. Is that right? No.
24.
24 yards. You're right. 24 yards.
I was going. If you hadn't asked, I was going with it. It was fine.
Pistol formation. They give the ball off to the first back on the jet. That's Ryland Murdoch. Tries the left side. Maybe got a yard. Check the spot as he tried to get to the edge. Winfield did a great job of just spreading that ball and keep it shifting out. They'll give him the 45, so gain of a yard. Bring up 2nd and 9 for the Pioneers.
It appeared like Murdoch might have a little space there, but it closed very quickly.
Well,
it was well defended.
Outside linebacker on that far side closed in fast, and the corner also crashed. So twins to the near side, single wide out to the far side, split backs, back to throw is Fisher Fry, and he is sacked back at the 38-yard line. Getting in there quickly was Keith Hall, 6'1", 270-pound senior, made the initial hit, and Fry will lose all the way back to the 38. So a loss of about, 8 on that play? Somewhere in that vicinity. We'll bring it 3rd and long. 3rd and 16, we'll call it. Pistol formation. They fake it off to Dameron. They hand it off to the first back through, and there was absolutely nothing there for Ronnie Staley, as he'll lose yardage. He's going to lose back to the 35. So a 3 and out as the Pioneers are facing 4th down and about 19. So punt formation will be Fisher Fry. So both teams facing a 3-and-out on their first series. Fry got run into, but they say it was touched. And it's going to roll out of bounds on the far side of the field around the Winfield 44-yard line. So the flipping of the field favors the Generals here. And they will take over 1st and 10 at their own 44. 8:24 left to play here in the opening period. No score here at Winfield High School, where the Generals are facing the Wayne Pioneers. Tim Carper along with Ryan Epling here on the Gridiron Sports Network. Welcome those listening in on Facebook. Also online, WFGH.com. Quick screen pass thrown out and caught by Aiden Hernandez. Hernandez will get across the 45 up to about the 49-yard line. Fry comes up along with Tristan Turner to make the stop, but a gain of about 4 on the play will bring up 2nd and 6. I'll give him 5. So a 5-yard gain brings up 2nd and 5 for the Generals. Back up under center is Easton Pinkerton. He's got an I formation now in behind him with twin receivers to the near side. They're going to give it to the far side to Pearson. He finds some running room, gets across the right guard, and gets up close to first down yardage. Depending on the spot, it's going to be extremely close. I think he's going to be just shy.
I think that was a tough spot. I thought he was right on it.
I thought he got about a half a yard more, but they're going to call it 3rd and less than a yard. So look for possibly Pinkerton to give the old quarterback sneak here. Well, he may be in 4-down territory. They hand it off to Jace Miller, and Miller, I don't think so. I don't think he got anything.
Well, I don't know where they'll put the ball, but I'll tell you, he was not as far up as Pearson was on the prior play.
And they give him nothing. So decision time for Coach Eddie Smolder on the Pioneer 46-yard line. He's facing 4th and 1, and it looks like they're going to go for it.
That was the first time Winfield had run between the tackles. Everything's been to the outside so far, and Wayne defense answered there.
And they tried the old quarterback sneak, and easy this time. And he's free. The quarterback was pushed by a running back. Easton Pinkerton will take it to the house. 46 yards and a cloud of dust. And Winfield scores early, 6-0. Well, it just seemed like Wayne just gave up. So, well, he got the first down. Let's just go ahead and stop. Waited for a whistle. No whistle blew. And Pinkerton just decided, well, I'm just going to keep going. And puts 6 on the board, and as Aiden Hernandez will come on to attempt the point after touchdown. Snap is back, hold is down, kick is up, and it is good. With 6:40 to go here in the very first period of the ball game, your score, Winfield 7 and Wayne nothing. Back in a moment on the Gridiron Sports Network.
This presentation of Pioneer Football is sponsored by Rustic Ravines. Rustic Ravines offers deluxe cabin rentals and special event planning, as well as some of the best ATV riding and hiking trails in the country. You'll also find kayaking and canoeing, a 3D bow range, fishing, hunting, golfing, and a pet and horse-friendly resort. Rustic Ravines can be found on Facebook, or their phone number is 304-385-1085.
You're listening to high school football action on 90.7 FM WFGH.
Well, reminiscent of last year when Winfield was able to score early. Last year was early and often. Hopefully that's not the case this season, but they do score early on a 45-yard, 46-yard touchdown run. As Hernandez dribbles one up the field, is taken at the 27-yard line. Picked up, I believe, by Is that Colton Mathis? It is Colton Mathis, who returns the ball out to the 40-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Pioneers. Good field position. But the Pioneers have nothing, and I mean less than nothing to show for their first offensive drive, as they lost, 9 or 10 yards?
Yeah, lost 9 yards on their first series, and Wayne will have to rethink its quarterback sneak defense, because that is 2 games in a row. They've given up a long touchdown run to the quarterback on a 4th and short on a quarterback sneak. 39 yards from Matt Fry at Scott that put that game away, and 46 yards there from Easton Pinkerton.
E-step split wide for the Pioneers to the far side of the field. Snap comes and handoff to Jackson Dameron, and Dameron gets nothing. I'll tell you what, Winfield is absolutely controlling the line of scrimmage. At this point of the contest, you got to think Coach Harmon's got to try to find something to get those guys to the outside. Of course, he tried a jet sweep on the first play from scrimmage, and that went nowhere. Might have to air the ball out here. They send Murdoch in motion and fake the jet sweep, and they throw the ball out into the flats, and a wide open Ronnie Staley was overthrown by Fisher Fry, and that ball will fall to the turf and bring up 3rd and 10 for the Pioneers. Clock stops at 5:56 to go here in the first period. 7-0. The Generals lead the Wayne Pioneers.
Had Staley open there and had a blocker out in front, and really just one man to beat.
Yep,
but that's a throw against his body.
Yep.
So that's not an easy throw. It's one, though, as he gets more experience, he'll look back on. He knows he needs to make that throw for this team to be successful.
Back to throw once again is Fry. Has a man, and the ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. Had a man out in the flats. Out there was Ryland Murdoch, but the ball was tipped by the right tackle. That was Briar Ayers, who got a hand on that football, and another 3 and out for the Wayne Pioneers. Fry will go back in punt formation. Trevin Turner back deep for the Generals. Good snap. Good high kick, and there comes a flag. That's going to be a first down for the Pioneers, I believe, as Turner gets dropped like third period French right where he caught the football. Nice defense there by big number 52, and that's Derek Followay. But they're going to call, was it roughing or was it running into? If it's roughing, that's going to be 15 yards and a first down.
He gave the roughing. He gave the personal foul.
He gave the personal foul. That's 15 yards. So that will give the Pioneers 15 yards and a first down, move the ball into General territory. Well, I knew he went down, and I didn't think he was blocked into.
And it got him just after he released, so he's on 1 foot.
Right.
And that's where,
unless you're,
that's why it's a personal foul. Honestly,
right.
the contact, if he's standing on 2 feet, is fine. I mean,
right.
Probably a 5-yard penalty. But where he was in that vulnerable position from just standing on one leg from having kicked the ball, the reason the rule's there is to protect the kicker.
That's exactly right. And they are kind of they're counting that as a defenseless player, and they are really cracking down on personal fouls against defensive players, especially wide receivers this year. That was a point of emphasis in the rule session that I attended via Zoom this season. So 1st and 10 for the Pioneers. They're going to hand the ball off. Try a little counter on the left side to Colton Mathis, and Mathis moves the pile from the 45 down to about the 42-yard line. Coming up to make the stop was Keith Hall. So that'll be a gain of 3 on the play, so some positive yards on the ground for a change for the Pioneers as the clock rolls with 5:07 remaining here in the opening period. 7-0, Winfield on top. Wayne has been beneficiaries of a holding penalty that stalled the first drive by Winfield. Now a personal foul that has extended this drive for them. Fry fakes the handoff, tries it himself over the left side, gets up to about the 40-yard line, gain of a couple. So it'll bring up 3rd and 5 from the Winfield 40. And you got to wonder now if Coach Tom Harmon sees himself in 4-down territory. Hopefully he won't have to make that decision. Play clock is now working. It's at 22 seconds. As the Pioneers break huddle, they'll send E-Step to the far side. 2 wings. Single back is Dameron. He'll be blocking for Fry, who drops back to pass. Good coverage. He gets the ball, low thrown ball. Was it intercepted? I think it was. It looked like, are they going to say Tanner got it or not? Yes. They're going to say that Trevin Tanner intercepted that football at the general 34-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10. So a turnover on a very errant pass. That ball could not have been caught by anyone but Tanner, and he was the one that hauled it in. I mean, that was not even close to a Pioneer player.
Everything that Fisher Fry has thrown so far has been to the left side. That's by design. That's across his body. He just hasn't got his shoulders squared up to make that throw just yet.
Not been able to pull the ball through. So they hand the ball off to the wingback this time, and that appears to be number 32, Matthew Daly, a 5'7", 140-pound sophomore, who gets out across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Gain of 6 on the play. That'd be 7 on the play, actually. Bring up 2nd and 3. Nice first down gain for the sophomore.
Winfield attacked the edges through much of the first 2 possessions, but now a couple plays directly up the middle with success.
This time they'll do a little end around with Pearson. He's got first down yardage as he gets across the 45 up to the 46-yard line. Tristan Turner once again comes up to make the tackle. We've called that young man's name a bunch of times here in the early going. With 3.5 to go here in the first period, 7-0. Winfield with the football and 1st and 10 at their own 46-yard line. They come back to the line quickly. 2 wings. Under center is Easton Pinkerton, and they try a quick hitter up the gut. Not much happening there. The ball carrier was Jace Miller. Coming up to make the stop was Cooper Adkins. Gain of about a yard or so. They'll spot him right around the 46 or 47-yard line. 2nd and 9. Single wide out to the near side, double wings. Shotgun formation this time for Pinkerton. And it's a quarterback draw. Pinkerton gets to the near side. He's got blockers out in front of him, and he's going to be run out of bounds at the Wayne 36-yard line. So we knew Chase Massey was very shifty and able to run the football, and it shows right now that Easton Pinkerton can as well. As they'll spot the ball at the Wayne 36-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Generals. They'll send a single wide out to the far side, double wings. Miller will be right in behind the quarterback Pinkerton. It's a quarterback draw again to the other side, and nobody there. He tries to get to the edge and does. Turns it back upfield, and he gets all the way down to about the 21, 22-yard line. Huge gain.
Well, it sounds basic, but when you don't line up right, you leave gaps. And I think Pinkerton just saw the entire right side wide open, and I think he called his own number there on a quick play.
Sure looked like it. Either that or Coach Eddie Smoller is Svengali of some sort to know what was going on there. They're going to come from the shotgun formation this time. Single wide out to the near side, back to throw. Looking for that single wide out to the near side. It's caught in the end zone by Aiden Hernandez. Right out of the reach of Colton Mathis, who was in coverage. So a long touchdown pass of 22 yards, and reminiscent once again of last season. Winfield scored 21 points in the first period last season. They'll have to hustle to get to there right now, but they've gotten 13, looking for 14. As Hernandez, who just caught the touchdown pass, is going to try to add on the point after touchdown. The kick is up. It's good. And with 1:51 left to play here in the first period, your score, Winfield 14. And the Wayne Pioneers nothing. Back in a moment on the Gridiron Sports Network.
This sports presentation is brought to you by our valued community partner, Rustic Ravines. Here's what the Evans family had to say about their experience.
We had the best time. Everyone was friendly, professional, and made us feel welcomed. We rented a side-by-side for a 5-hour ride with our guide through the beautiful mountains of West Virginia. We highly recommend, and we'll be back.
Rustic Ravines can be found on Facebook, or their phone number is 304-385-1085.
You're listening to high school football action on 90.7 FM WFGH.
Well, the Winfield Generals jumping out early. They have a 14-0 lead. And set to kick it away. Short kick that hits at the 25-yard line. Picked up there by Wayne's Ryland Murdoch, and Murdoch gets it back out to about the 35, 36-yard line. Well, they're giving him a better spot than that. Looks like they're going to give him the 38, possibly. So a generous spot, and give the ball to the Pioneers, 1st and 10, who have been absolutely anemic on the offensive side of the football thus far.
Minus 4 yards of offense through 2 possessions for Wayne. And that includes a first down, but that was by penalty.
Wayne has sent a diamond formation, quads to the far side. They throw a quick screen pass that's going to be caught by Colton Mathis, and Mathis is down close to first down yardage, depending on the spot. They just put a diamond formation on the far side, threw it to Mathis, and everybody else blocked. And they're going to give him the 48-yard line. So, they'll give him the 49-yard line. So a first down for the Wayne Pioneers. This time they bring trips to the near side. Single wide out to the far side. Play clock down to 10. Fry. He's going to run a quarterback draw, and nothing there. Maybe a yard. They tried to spread them out. The general defense unable to. Gain of maybe a yard.
I'll be honest with you, that's another generous spot. They almost gave him 2. I mean, Wayne has been the beneficiary of some friendly spots on the opposing side. And I say that as a Wayne grad.
And they'll take every bit of it.
Yep. And especially when you play in the Kanawha Valley.
Because
things don't go your way a lot.
I've learned that things generally even out in that situation. Fry, play action, back to pass, screen pass, caught by Staley. Staley's got some running room, run down from behind, but he does get first down yardage. Nice job there by Aiden Hernandez, who turned on some kind of afterburners and was able to run down Staley. I thought he was going to get down much further than he did. They'll spot him down at the 38-yard line. I'll tell you what, Hernandez, he's quick as a hiccup because he turned him on and turned him on fast.
It surprised you. It surprised me. It surprised Ronnie Staley.
I think so.
Because he was looking downfield to try to make one more cut to see the end zone. And suddenly he went down from behind.
Don't think Wayne's going to get this one off. Nope. That's going to be the end of the first period. Your score after 12 minutes of play. Winfield 14, Wayne nothing. We'll return to the Gridiron Sports Network after these moments and Wayne Pioneer football.
It's easy to guess what's inside a truck. Pallets of products, goods packed and piled high, but many never consider what's inside the trucker. The men and women who keep business moving, who help support communities, the parents and providers, brothers, sisters, and neighbors. Inside you is the commitment to deliver a job well done. For your sacrifice, your perseverance, and your drive, we thank you. Shell Rotella, the engine oil that works as hard as you.
You're You're listening to high school football action on Sports Radio 90.7 WFGH.
Well, we played 12 minutes here at Winfield High School. Homecoming for the Generals here tonight, and the Generals enjoying a very nice first period. And they lead it here 14-0. Wayne finally getting some offense rolling, however. They have the ball 1st and 10 on the General 38-yard line. Pride, no one in the backfield with him. They've got a diamond formation once again over here on the near side. They fake the diamond. They try to go deep. Has a man open. Caught at the 5-yard line. And a nice catch by Cade Estep. They'll say he stepped out of bounds at about the 6-yard line. So a nice toss from Fisher Pride. They had set the diamond up. And instead of having one stay to block, they sent E-Step deep and faked the screen and threw it deep. Now they've got 4 wide once again on the far side of the football field. And this time, Fry's just going to try to tuck it up and run and gets nothing. Had the ball 1st and goal from the 6, and I think he lost a yard, maybe 2 on that one. That was just a flat quarterback keep, and they'll lose 1 on the play. We'll bring up 1st and goal or 2nd and goal from the 7. And you got to put this ball in the end zone, Ryan.
That's been a problem. That was a problem last week. Wayne had a couple of drives deep into Scott territory, came up empty, and you have to score and goal to go in big games. And if Wayne wants to be a team that could host a playoff game potentially, this is a big game. This is the type of game you've got to push the ball in the end zone here.
Absolutely. Bring a man in motion. Fry back to throw. Looking to the end zone. Throws it to the back of the end zone and out of the back of the end zone as he was under some heavy pressure. KD Step was in the vicinity.
I'll tell you, Tim, the front 4 for that Winfield defense has played outstanding. That's Toby Lawfrey, 6'4", 210. Briar Ayers, 6'3", 220. Caleb Kuhl, 6'2", 220. Keith Hall, 6'1", 270. It's an imposing line.
It is.
And they have done the work so far. We got some pressure there on Fisher Fry, too.
And they're not, they're big, but they're not beefy big. They're
stout big.
Flat out move, too. So speed and size. And Coach Tom Harmon sees something he doesn't like and calls a timeout, his first timeout of the half. We'll keep it right here. 11:03 left to play in the half. Wayne trails at 14-0, but they do have the ball 2nd and goal from the 7-yard line. As we'll say hello to Mike Curry. Mike listened to me back in the day. He attended Kentucky Christian University, and he listened to me for several years when I was the voice of the KCU Knights, and just got a message on Facebook that he'll be listening in tonight. Mike from Wayne, and great guy, good friend, been a long-time listener. I don't know why he listens to me, but I think he just likes the team. I don't think he likes me. But, no, Mike's a great guy, and we'll say hi to Mike and Diane. If you all are still listening, we appreciate you. Everyone listening in, we certainly appreciate it. And we like to hear from you.
Yeah. Makes it feel like we're not just calling this game out into the abyss.
Makes like me and Ryan aren't just sitting here
talking to each other,
talking to one another.
Yeah. Sometimes we just set the headsets down and talk.
That's true. Now Fred's listening. He has to. All right. Fake handoff across the middle. Had Brady Spradlin wide open in the end zone. And Fisher Fry overthrew him. And that'll bring up a 3rd and goal. Man, he had Spradlin, 4th and goal. He had Brady Spradlin wide open from that tight end position. He had leaked out to the center of the field, and Fry just overthrew him.
That's a kind of a pop pass.
Yep.
And
Tight end pop pass is exactly what it was.
And I think Fry saw Spradlin, got excited, and rushed the throw.
He had some happy feet.
Hey, let me tell you, Fisher Fry is doing an outstanding job. I don't want it to sound like I'm being rough on him here, because the throws he has missed are not easy throws. He's a junior, first-year starting quarterback, third game of the season.
Right.
And quite frankly, Wayne's put a whole lot more on him than it has on past quarterbacks in terms of decision-making, ball in the hand, rolling out, moving out, making plays from the quarterback position than it has happened in the past. He's handling it really well.
I think
there
so,
are
too.
Still some plays left on the field, and again,
there will be.
Fisher will be the first one to tell you that too.
Yep.
But he's doing an outstanding job moving them down the field, and just missed that one. And you got to feel like he's going to start connecting on those, because he is the caliber player who does connect on those plays.
Absolutely.
He makes those plays.
Wayne has called a timeout, so if you're wondering, Ryan and I aren't just sitting here talking and letting the football.
4 plays later.
Yeah. As I've seen some broadcasters, I heard some broadcasters do, but they have called a timeout to talk about this 4th and goal from the 7.
I mean, field goal is a possibility. I think if we were in a less than 2-score game, you might see Kate Eastep trying to kick a field goal here.
If it goes 7-0, you're exactly right. But here we go. And we've got a whistle right at the onset, and the Generals saw something they didn't like, and they've called a timeout. I'll tell you what, that defensive coordinator was standing on the 10-yard line. Is there not a box in West Virginia high school football?
I think he was running down there to make sure the official heard the timeout call. I don't think he was going.
I think he ran in there to see what they were doing and then decided to call the timeout, because he was way down there and pretty quick.
And he's wearing a red hat, so he sticks out on that.
Absolutely. I saw him way down there, and he's supposed to be back up at the 25-yard line. He was standing on the 10. So, back-to-back timeouts as the game of chess continues here in Winfield High School. The Pioneers trail 14-0. They have the ball 4th and goal from the 7. As the obligatory Cotton Eye Joe being played at every high school football game across America tonight. And the cheerleaders have their line dance down pat. But I'll say this, it sure beats some of that stuff they were playing prior to the game.
Amen. I don't even know how you can find versions of those.
I don't even know how you call
those sounds to play.
Call that music, honestly. Twins to the near side, Fry. Hits it.
This is Superstation 101.1 FM, WVWP-LP, Wayne, West Virginia. We are Superstation 101.1 FM. This is Superstation 101.1 FM, WVWP-LP, Wayne, West Virginia. We are Superstation 101.1 FM. This is Superstation 101.1 FM, WVWP-LP, Wayne, West Virginia. We are Superstation 101.1 FM.
Footsteps coming in from behind him at a big loss.
He just tripped over the 12-yard line. Fell forward to the 13, so a loss of about 5 will bring up 2nd and 15. Hard count, trying to draw Wayne off sides, unsuccessful. Good discipline by the 3-man front. And that's something different this year, a 3-man front for the Pioneers. Normally a 4-man front. They go with 4 linebackers this season. And here's Pearson rushed out of the pocket. He's going to be sacked by Cooper Adkins all the way back to about the 6-yard line. Cooper Adkins came flying in there, and they're actually going to put him down at the 4-yard line. So it's going to be third down and about a $50 Uber ride right now for the Winfield Generals.
I have to get to the 28-yard line.
Wow.
So 24 to go here on third down.
Third and 24. And they're going to try that little quarterback draw. And this time Wayne has it diagnosed. He'll get about 5 yards on the play, Will Pinkerton, but not much more than that. And that will cause Coach Eddie Smolder to send out his punt team as he is facing 4th and forever. Ball spotted at the general 9-yard line.
Good job there by Zane Atkins, staying with the play,
Absolutely.
staying aware, fought off the blocker, turned around, and the ball carrier came straight to him.
There he was. Didn't even have to move. Staley will be standing near his own 40-yard line. And there's a fumble on the snap and a block on the kick. And Wayne's going to get great field position right here as Murdoch fell on it. And the folks underneath us is hollering for roughing, but if you block the punt, you can hit that punter as hard as you want to. It was a fumbled snap by the punter, Drew Mann, and Mann just could not get it away. I did not get to see who blocked that punt, but Murdoch recovered it. So great field position here for the Pioneers as they'll have the ball first and goal at the 4-yard line. Fry hands it off this time to Colton Mathis. Put 6 on the board for the Pioneers. Colton Mathis from 4 yards out. So a great defensive stand gives the ball to the offense in great field position, and this time the Pioneers capitalize and put 6 on the board. Now they're going to line up in the old water bucket play we used to call it, where they'll line up everyone to the left side except for, and they're going to run for 2 because nobody came over, and Fisher Fry is going to add the deuce. Well, there's a play there, Ryan, that I have seen and rarely see it work. But what happened was they brought everyone to the left side. We used to call it the water bucket play. Everyone gathered around the water bucket at the left side. Leave 3 guys around the football, 1 to snap it, 1 to block, and the quarterback. What happened there is the guy that snapped it was there as a blocker. The guy beside the quarterback is an eligible receiver because he's in the backfield. So he ran out for a pass. He was covered up by, they only had 2 guys that stayed with the water bucket play, 2 defenders for the Generals. And so Fisher Fry knew he could throw it or run it. When that guy went with the receiver, he had wide open cut field to the end zone. He was watching a little TV land there because he was watching Green Acres, and went right into the end zone and cuts this lead to 6 at 14-8 with 8:09 remaining here in the first half. Nice kick to the far side, taken at about the 14-yard line by, I believe that's, there comes flags everywhere. I don't know what's going on there.
Whatever that was ahead of the ball because I think it was Fisher Fry or maybe Colton Mathis. His name's Colton Mathis who got back in there, and Hernandez thought he saw some room, and Colton Mathis just wrangled him and put him down.
But we have flags everywhere. Personal foul. That's not targeting. That's
crackback.
Crackback block.
And everybody saw it.
Yeah.
Because there were flags from every direction.
I didn't see it. I was watching the ball, but every official on the field saw it because there was about 10 flags come flying in there.
Somebody threw 2.
So that's going to be a 10-yarder from the spot. That is a spot foul. No, actually, they go back from the end of the run and go half the distance.
It was behind the play.
Right. So that's going to go back to the end of the run, and they'll go half the distance, where it will be 1st and 10 from about the 7, maybe the 8-yard line. It's hard to see from this in that far corner. We'll call it the 8. What do you call it? You call it whatever you want.
You call it whatever you want. I'm good on that.
Back to quarterback, and he's going to try again, that time with Pinkerton, and got out to about the 10-yard line. Gain of a couple. So this, after running wild on this Wayne defense in the first quarter, someone has made some defensive adjustments and their keys, and they are absolutely stuffing these runs now. Of course, as soon as I say that, they're going to break a 90-yarder here, I'm sure. But twins to the near side, twins to the far side, single setback with Pinkerton. He's going to try a quarterback draw. They try a little pitch, and they get a little pitch pass forward. It's going to be close to first down yardage, but I think he's going to be a couple short. I didn't even see who he got that one to.
I think that was Jace Miller.
I think it was. Yeah, you say that. Miller was in the backfield with him. That was just a little push pass, I guess. Technically a pass, but it was more of a pitch forward. But it'll bring up third and about 3.
It was like an inverted option.
Yeah.
The pitch man was in front of the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. So now they'll have I formation facing 3rd and 3. Miller will be the fullback, Pearson the tailback. They give it to Pearson, and he finds first down yardage and then some as he gets to the edge, and he might be gone. Unless Staley can run him down, and he stopped, and Staley did run him down, stopped him, and then Turner came in and finished him off. Nice run all the way down to the 35-yard line. Want some
50-yard
50 yards. So big play there, boy. That's a backbreaker. You get them 3rd and 3. If you can stop them there, force a punt, you get right back in it. Which you're in it now. It's 14-8. It's not like you're down 3 scores, but your defense have been playing very, very effectively till that play right there, and then they allow a big gain.
As of right now, that play just flips field position. You've got to continue this possession for Wayne.
Yep.
You can't let that play beat you on down the field.
Jace Miller takes the ball off tackle to the left. He'll pick up maybe 3. Yeah, they'll give him the 33-yard line, 32-yard line. So a gain of 3 on the play. Bring up 2nd and 7. Now they move it back to the 33. So we'll give him 2 on that play, 2nd and 8.
Miller at 6'2", 210.
Big boy to bring down. Pinkerton is under center. Double wing. Single back is Miller. They throw a screen pass out to Hernandez, and he's got running room as he gets down close to first down yardage, across the 30, down close to the 25, but he will be a yard or 2 shy. So they'll spot him down at the 27-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 2, and you got to figure the Generals are in 4-down territory here.
I think they saw soft coverage on the outside and just stand up, throw the ball straight out there, let an athlete go in space.
With Hernandez's speed, you have to lay off of him, though, because he can flat torch you. Here's another quarterback draw, and he's got first down yardage and then some more. He is very shifty. He gets down to about the 15-yard line. Coming up to make the stop was Fisher Fry on the play. Also Ryland Murdoch. But it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Generals. The ball spotted at the 15.
Man, what a luxury. Your quarterback goes down, good athlete, and this is the guy you bring in.
Absolutely.
He could start for a lot of teams around the state.
He's in shotgun formation right now with Miller to his right. They send a man in motion, and he's going to run it again. This time he's got nothing. As Jackson Dameron shot the hole, he shot that gap on the far side. The big gap he was able to get through, and boom, he was on that quarterback Pinkerton before he knew what hit him. So a loss of about 3, maybe 4 on that play, and Winfield's going to talk about it. They want a timeout. We'll take a break with them with 4:10 left to play here in the first half. Your score, Winfield 14, Wayne 8. Back in a moment on the Gridiron Sports Network.
This football broadcast is brought to you in part by our fine community partner, Rustic Ravines. Rustic Ravines offers deluxe cabin rentals and special event planning, as well as some of the best ATV riding and hiking trails in the country. Rustic Ravines can be found on Facebook, or their phone number is 304-385-1085. Rustic Ravines, a proud community partner of Pioneer Football.
You're listening to high school football action on 90.7 WFGH.
Welcome back to Pioneer Football. Tim Carper along with Ryan Epling here on the Gridiron Sports Network. 14-8, the Winfield Generals lead the Wayne Pioneers with 4:10 remaining here in the first half. Winfield facing a 2nd and 12 from the Pioneer 17. They snap the ball in shotgun formation, throw it to the corner of the end zone, and I couldn't see what happened. Was it incomplete?
Incomplete. Great play by Caden Hayton on the back end for Wayne there. It's almost looked like a basketball player denying the pass to the wing. Got a hand out, knocked it down, and that was a well-thrown ball from Pinkerton. Looked like it could be a score, but Hayton denied it.
It was in the one spot of the field I cannot see.
And Colton Mathis got held on the other end. He was blitzing off the edge, and the tackle couldn't get in front of him, so he just reached out and
pulled him down.
That's exactly what he did.
Up under center with twins to the far side. They send a man in motion. Oh, there was a early motion right there. That was absolutely a false start, and they did see it. The wide out on the inside, the split end, I guess you might call him. He took off about a second at least prior to the snap.
This isn't Canada.
He was across the line. You can't even do that in Canada. You can move forward. You got to wait to cross the line. If that play was intended for him, he would have definitely been open.
And Wayne was bringing a heavy blitz up the middle there too. So now, if you're Wayne, do you bring the same blitz or do you back off? It's 3rd and long. Your best defense so far has been from your front 4.
Right.
It's been when you've been attacking. And
technically, they're front 3.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to say that.
Rolling out. Pinkerton throws towards the end zone. Has a man open, but overthrew him.
Ooh, he had K1 Pearson was wide open.
Pearson had toasted his man on that one. So it's going to bring up 4th down and about 18 or so.
I think they're out of field goal range. I watched the kicker in warm-ups, and he's good from probably 35 in. This would be 40 from here.
They're at the 23-yard line. Fred just let us know that Tulsa is up on Van 8-0 with 3:59 left in the first period. Must be a 7:30 start there.
Go Rebels.
Go Rebels. So that's 4th down, and the Wayne defense. Here's a blitz, and Pinkerton gets away from one, but can he get away? He gets away from another one, but then lets it fly. Did he catch it? He may have. He did not. It wouldn't have been enough for a 1st down. But Wayne brought the house and pressure on Pinkerton that time, and there is somebody absolutely livid. That's Coach Smolder. He's throwing headsets and everything. If he wanted some kind of a penalty of some sort, because he's going absolutely wild.
I mean, he is fired up.
I mean,
I don't know.
I didn't see anything.
No.
I didn't see anything untoward.
He might have saw something we didn't, but we
didn't
have
seen a hold downfield or something, which could have been because we're watching the ball. But he was absolutely going out of his mind. Wayne will get the ball back over on downs, however.
That Wayne defense looked like sharks.
They did.
On the attack there. Wayne's better defensively when they attack. They're not necessarily a good read and react defense.
They're not a layback team. They've got to be ears pinned back and ready to rock. Oh, here's a bad snap. Fry better get on it, and he does. And that's going to be a huge loss, but fortunately for Fisher Fry, he was able to fall on that football, but it's going to be all the way back to the 10-yard line. It's going to bring up 2nd down at about 24.
Oh, that snap came in hot.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, that was snapped so hard that it deflected off Fisher Fry's hand and went 14 yards in the backfield. I mean,
it was pretty bad.
It's supposed to be warm, but it's not supposed to be that hot.
I think the nose may have had something to do with that. I think Keith Hall has been eating a lunch of that center all night. So Fry will hand it off to Staley. And, boy, there's just not much there. Staley may have gotten a yard, if that.
This is a Wayne offense.
They'll give him one, and that's it.
That cannot succeed playing behind the chains.
No.
And, I mean, they can move the ball. We've seen that all year. But Not when they shoot themselves in the foot along the way. They're not good enough to overcome that as of right now.
Right. And let's see what you draw up for 3rd and 22. I say you run the football and let some clock run out here, personally. And that's what they're going to do, is give it up the gut to Jackson Dameron. Dameron will get out to the 16-yard line, so gain of about 5. And you kind of let the clock run down. You can get it down to about a minute and a half or so before you have to punt this football and kind of limit the Generals, who have called 2 timeouts already, so they've only got 1 left. So I would look for them to come after this punt in a mighty way. As Trevon Tanner, stands at midfield. Fry gets a high kick, fielded at the 46-yard line. Oh, there's a that was a bad block, and it was called. And Turner was run into by his own player, Christopher Ratcliffe, who was the man who blocked Mathis. And they threw the flag. It's going to be another crackback or a block in the back. That was crazy.
That was wild. That was so obvious that the umpire, who is at the line of scrimmage,
threw it.
He grabbed the flag, but he didn't throw it because everybody else already had.
Ratcliffe.
He didn't want to have to go pick it up.
Ratcliffe not only cracked the back of Murdoch, but he also tackled Tanner.
You know, I think as a coach, you don't like the it ends up being a hold call. You don't like that. But you like the effort.
Yeah.
You just want to refocus it. Just
exactly.
like let's turn you here.
That's exactly right. But that 10 yards could loom large with only a minute and a half left to play. Here in the half, Wayne trails at 14-8. And I tell you what, at the beginning of this game, if you would tell me it was 14-8 at half, I think you'd have to be happy with Coach Tom Harmon, especially after those first 3 or 4 drives.
Still got to get there, though.
They hand the ball off to Miller. He tries the left side, gets run out of bounds. And I think they're wanting some extracurricular there, but there was nothing there at all. I mean, that was Caden Hayton.
They were just engaged together out of bounds. They both fell down.
Yeah, he couldn't let go if he wanted to. The folks in front of us definitely wanted a personal foul, late hit of some sort, but that was not in the cards.
My goodness, if they want a penalty for that, we'll be here all night because they don't replay on that.
I don't even have my red colored glasses on tonight. That's just the way it is. Shotgun formation with 1:30 left to play. In the half, they hand it off to Pearson. He finds some room, and then that one closed up quickly. Nice job there. Once again, Turner comes in to make the stop, as well as, I think that was Sowards. Yeah, Harry Sowards comes in and made the initial hit. Turner finished him off.
That's the little things. Winfield made a mistake here. They threw the ball at the official instead of handing him the ball. So the clock has just kept on running here.
Right.
And they've lost probably 25 seconds just in between plays because of that.
Now they'll stop the clock because it was enough for a first down after the 49, but now the clock starts running. It's at 1 minute. Back to throw. They try to throw the near side. It's going to be caught, and a nice catch by Winfield's Toby Lafferty. All the way down to the 30-yard line. Did he get out of bounds? Apparently so, or is the clock stopped solely for the first down? It's going to be spotted at the 30-yard line. I did not see that he did not get out of bounds, so the official winds the clock back up with 45 seconds left to play in the half. 1st and 10 from the Wayne 30. They throw out in the flats, wide open on the far side, and that's going to be a touchdown for Hernandez, and you just can't do that. They played soft, and Hernandez, once he gets the ball, he's got more moves than X-Lax, and he was able to take that one in for an easy score with 37 seconds left to play. 20-8. And Hernandez will come on to attempt the point after touchdown out of the hold of Aiden Martinez. So the Aiden and Aiden show. Snap is back. Hold is down, and it's muffled. The ball is loose and picked up by the Pioneers. So the point after touchdown is no good. And with 37 seconds left to play here in the first half, your score now, Winfield 20, Wayne 8. Back in a moment on the Gridiron Sports Network.
In the fabric of America, they are the toughest threads. One of the first things they learned was the code that every service member lives by. Leave no one behind. Now all of us need to live by it too, because some veterans are being left behind. 20 of them take their own lives every day. Learn how to be there for a veteran at BeThereForVeterans.com. Honor the code. Be there. Leave no one behind.
You're listening to high school football action on 90.7 FM, WFGH.
Well, back here at Winfield High School. 37 seconds left to play here in this first half, and Winfield has just scored once again to take a 20-8 lead. They'll kick it off. Hernandez kicks it to the 15-yard line, where it's picked up by Ronnie Staley, and Staley has stood up at the 25. I mean, he was stood up hard by big number 54, and that is Aiden Douglas. Well, they got a lot of Aidens on this team. Aiden Douglas.
A popular name around here.
5'9", 190-pound sophomore. That's at least three that I've called on tonight. Spelling's a little different, but still the third Aiden we've called tonight. So 1st and 10.
There are two more.
Are there really? Somebody who was Aiden about 15 years ago?
There's
popular.
Aiden Oliver and Aiden Evans.
Wow.
To go along with Martinez, Hernandez, and
that was Douglas.
Douglas, yeah.
So Fry will come up under center. Let's see what the Pioneers try to do here. They're going to give the ball to Jackson Dameron up the gut. He'll get a couple. I think they'll be content to let that be the final play of the half and go to the locker room. Boy, that last score really took the sails out of Wayne. Even though they will get the ball to start the second half, I don't think Coach Tom Harmon will snap another one, as he will not. That's going to be the end of this first half here tonight, where the Wayne Pioneers trail the Winfield Generals 20-8 is your halftime score. We're going to take a break. When we return, we'll take a look at some of the scores from across the area here tonight, across the state of West Virginia. Ryan will have some preliminary stats for you, as well as the halftime show comes your way next on the Gridiron Sports Network.
It's that very special time of the year, and that means it's time for high school football. This is Fred Persinger inviting you to join Dave, Jacqueline, and me every Friday night this fall for high school game night on the Metro News Radio Network. We'll bring you all the scores, stories, and interviews from high school football games being played all over the state. High school game night, 17 years and going strong. Heard every Friday night.
After the game tonight on the Superstation Network.
You're listening to high school football action on Sports Radio 90.7 WFGH.
Back here at Winfield High School, where the Winfield Generals lead the Wayne Pioneers 20-8 here at the half. Let's take a look at some scores from across the state of West Virginia here this evening. Over in Huntington tonight, the Huntington squad leads George Washington. I think you guys called him GW, right?
GW,
as a moniker of, I'm sure that's endearment. 14-0. That scores in the first quarter. Wheeling Park is leading University 7-0. Parkersburg South and Parkersburg, that's a huge game. Number 2 against number 4. That game's scoreless in the first period. Fairmont Senior and Bridgeport are tied at 14-all. That in the second quarter. Cabell Midland leads South Charleston 28-0 in the second period, and that one could get ugly and get ugly fast. Spring Mills and Musselman, no score in the first. Martinsburg leads H.D. Woodson out of D.C. 13-7. Spring Valley leads the number 16 Hurricane Redskins 14-0 right now. And that game is in the first quarter. That game can be heard on the Superstation Network as well. I think Rick and Danny and Randy have that game for you over on the streams as well. Let's see. St. Albans leads Capital 6-0. Bluefield defeated. Oh, hold on. Oh, this doesn't make sense. This says that the Bluefield beat Greenbrier East 34-19, but the game was postponed until Monday. Was that maybe from last week? Maybe that was postponed from last week, and it was finished this week, and it was 34-19. I'm guessing that's what happened. It can't be a final tonight if it was postponed tonight. So, Washington and John Marshall scoreless in the first. Marietta, Ohio leads Ripley 36-3. It's Oak Hill over Lincoln County 21-0. Robert C. Byrd and Preston are scoreless in the first. In AA, a game played last night. Boy, what a squeaker. Lincoln beat Nicholas County 17-16. Well, that would have been a dandy, sounds like. Let's see. North Marion leads Brook 20-3. Philip Barber and Liberty Harrison scoreless in the first. Frankfort leads Weir 21-14. Roane County leads Lewis County 7-0. Point Pleasant and Scott are tieless. They're tied or scoreless in the first, 0-0. Woodrow Wilson and Bluefield, that game's being played tomorrow. Our game here at the half, Winfield leads Wayne 20-8. Chapmanville and Nitro, a Cardinal Conference matchup, tied at 7-7 in the first period. East Fairmont leads Braxton County 21-0. Herbert Hoover, Cardinal Conference member, is leading AAA Hedgeville 21-8. Hedgesville is ranked 15th in AAA. So nice lead right there for Herbert Hoover. Keyser and Berkeley Springs scoreless. Buchanan Upshur and Elkins scoreless. Hampshire and Grafton also scoreless. Independence leads Shady Spring 35-0. That game in the second quarter. Westside leads Pikeview 14-0. That game in the second quarter. And Summers County leads Wyoming East 22-0. That game is at the half. In single A, let's see. We have Tyler Consolidated leading Webster County 28-12. St. Mary's has defeated Wirt County. I think that game was played yesterday, 34-12. Wheeling Central leads Midland Trail 20-6. Williamstown all over Ritchie County 50-0. That game's in the second quarter. Petersburg leads North Garrett of Maryland 12-8. Wahama is leading Calhoun County 43-0 in the second. Greenbrier West leads Buffalo 36-0. It is Gilmer County leading Tucker County 22-12. And let's see what else we have. Bealsville, Ohio is beating Clay Battelle 20-8. And no other score. We do have a score from the Van Tulsa game. Fred sent that one in. The start of the second quarter, Tulsa and Van all tied at 8 apiece. So there's your scores from around the state. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Ryan will give us a recap and some of the stats of this one here. We're at the half. The Wayne Pioneers currently trail the Winfield Generals 20-8, and you're hearing it all right here on the Gridiron Sports Network.
Hello, I'm Stan Campbell. And I'm Tim Dennis.
I'm Alicia Vieira.
For this weekend, I hereby testify that the Music Under Electrical Broadcasting Trucker Radio Show is nothing but true country and only the best hit-kicking music you'd expect.
Rhyme cuts.
Top choice. Only the best.
We'll rock a little.
And we'll have the latest trucking industry news and interviews. No animals are heard during the production of Trucker Radio.
Trucker Radio, heard exclusively on only the best radio stations in the USA and around the world.
Weekdays, 3 to 6 on WFGH. You're listening to high school football action on 90.7 WFGH.
Well, we're here at the half. It is homecoming here at Winfield, and therefore the homecoming court being brought onto the field by the band and the flag corps, or majorettes. We used to call them majorettes. They may call them flag corps now. I'm not sure what they call them, but nonetheless, they're out there bringing these young ladies and their escorts across the field. And, let's take a look at some of the stats from this first half with my broadcast partner, Ryan Epling. Ryan?
Thank you very much, Tim, and it's been a one-sided affair. We'll go with Wayne as, at least on statistically, it's been one-sided. On the scoreboard, not as much, but we'll see how this game plays out. It's been a rough go on the ground for the Pioneers in the opening half of play. Colton Mathis and Jackson Dameron lead the rushing attack, 7 yards apiece.
Wow.
Mathis on just 2 carries, Dameron on just 3 carries. Mathis also has a 4-yard touchdown run. Rylan Murdoch, 1 carry, 1 yard. Fisher Fry, 5 carries, minus 19 yards. A lot of that coming on that fumbled snap. He had to go back and fall on for a 14-yard loss. Ronnie Staley, 2 carries, minus 2 yards. As a team, Wayne, 13 carries, minus 6 yards in the first half of play. Through the air, Fisher Fry is 3 of 9 for 44 yards, 1 interception. Ronnie Staley, 1 catch, 11 yards. Colton Mathis, 1 catch, 11 yards. Kate Estep, 1 catch for 22 yards. No penalties against the Pioneers in the first half. 1 fumble. Wayne did recover its own fumble, but Wayne with 22 offensive plays from scrimmage, 38 yards of total offense in the first half.
Wow. How are they only down?
Yeah,
how are they only down 12?
Exactly. Winfield, on the other hand, Easton Pinkerton, the quarterback, getting his first career start behind center. Technically, he didn't even start behind center because they ran Jared Miller for 1 play before shifting him over there. But 8 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown. He went 46 yards on a quarterback sneak for the first touchdown of the day. K'Wan Pearson, 7 carries, 84 yards. That's boosted by a 50-yard run. That helped set up Winfield late in the half as well. Jace Miller, 5 carries for 16 yards. Matthew Daly, 2 carries, 2 yards. Team, 1 carry, negative 6 yards. That was on the blocked punt. So Winfield on the ground as a team, 23 carries, 182 yards. Easton Pinkerton through the air is 5 of 8 for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. Both of those touchdowns to Aiden Hernandez, who has 4 catches for 64 yards and touchdown catches of 22 and 31. Toby Loffery also with 1 catch for 21 yards for the Generals. 5 penalties for 48 yards against Winfield in the first half. No fumbles for Winfield. The Generals have 267 yards of total offense. And that all adds up to a 20-8 lead for Winfield at the break here at generically named General Stadium.
Well, it's just a general stadium. It's nothing special about it at all. Oh, let's see. Just heard from our buddy Fred Dameron back at Studio Control and tells us that Tulsa now has added a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. They lead Van 16-8 with 6:12 left to play in the second half. So the Rebels come right back to take the lead over Van. That's a big single A. Are they both in the Coalfield Conference?
I don't believe Tulsa is formally in a conference, but they do play a lot of the Coalfield teams.
So 16-8 is the score right now with 6:12 left to play in that first half. We are at halftime here at Winfield, where the Generals lead the Pioneers 20-8 is your score here at the moment. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and recap some scores from around the area, as we do have an extended halftime tonight because of homecoming. They put 20 minutes on the clock rather than the general 15, I believe. Is it not 15? Is it always 20?
It's always 20.
It's always 20.
And then they put 3 more after that.
That's right.
For the warm-up period, which I've always found interesting. Like, why
not just put 18 up to start with?
All right. Well, let's put 17 up and then get them out there. Let's put 20. Or here's a novel concept. Let's put 20 up and play at the end of that.
Yeah, come out when you want to.
Yeah.
In Kentucky, they may have changed it. It used to be 15 at halftime. It was a 15-minute halftime, then the 3 minutes, which I'm like you, I never understood why they had to put the 3 more minutes. And when I would do radio, inevitably the officials would not be out there right at the end of that 15 sometimes, and the clock keeper technically is not allowed to put the 3
He's
minutes
supposed
up
to
and
wait.
start it until the official winds the clock. So there were times when we had 25-minute halves, half times at times when the officials were a little bit on the tired side.
I will tell you what that has kind of cut out, and that's an NFHS thing. That's a national thing. But there was a time about 20 years ago where honestly, back then, both teams would have their bands at games. You had more traveling bands. It wasn't as expensive to travel a band. So
exactly.
that is not a knock on anybody. That's just, it was different. It was a different time.
That's the way it was.
So you would have both bands perform at halftime, and very often the visiting band would get out there and take up 13 minutes, and then the home band could not get their performance done, and then home team would end up with a delay of game penalty because the band's still on the field.
Yeah,
so that kind of helped clean that up a little
right.
bit. So that's a positive from it, but it is kind of weird that you run the clock out, wait, put 3 more minutes back on, and then run that as well. So it makes it extends halftime, and honestly, it makes it feel like forever sometimes.
So halftimes, I'm like, I like when it's a blowout game, they put about 10 minutes up, boom, let's go play football, personally. But, I'm sure coaches need that time, especially in games like this, to make adjustments. And players need to heal a little bit,
You're trying to sell some concession stand food, too.
Absolutely.
That's the lifeblood of the programs. Or, the booster clubs
every high school has to have folks visit the concession stand because, let's be honest, the tickets... you might pay for the officials and a little bit extra. Most of your money, it comes from that concession stand. And I don't know how they do it here in some areas. I know, I know I talk a lot about back in Northeast Kentucky where I'm from, but I spent 20 years there.
That's where you're from.
Doing high school football, and most of the time it was the basketball team, baseball team, girls track, girls softball would run the concession stand on that particular night of those 5 home games, and then they would split some of the concessions with the football team so that they could help fund their program. Because let's be quite honest, again, I'm assuming this is universal. Football and basketball, the only self-supporting sports in high school athletics.
And that's not the baseball team's fault or the softball team's fault. It's just they play it, honestly, around here, the weather's not always all that conducive to playing ball.
And generally speaking, baseball games start at 4:30, 5:30.
You can't get off work
can't get off work in time to get there.
Yep.
Let's just be honest about it. There is a distinct advantage for football and basketball to get a crowd. Plus, let's be honest, they're more spectator friendly, and there's more athletes involved in most of those. Real honestly, I love kids that run track and cross country and all that. But who's going to, other than a mom, dad, and a boyfriend and a grandpa, who's going to go sit and watch them run?
Right, it's hard to. Yeah, that's just it's just not conducive to it, especially like cross country, which Wayne's cross country team, boys and girls, really good. They are top 5 in the Class AA in West Virginia, and they do a fantastic job. But it's you can only see them run for as far as you can see.
Right.
And in West Virginia, you can't see very far without running into a hillside or a mountain. So
same back home. And I will say,
so support them as you can.
Right. On the rise is soccer, probably. They may be close to self-supporting. I don't know. In some areas, probably more than others. But soccer is becoming more popular and get a little better crowd at times.
I think Marshall's success has helped that in the tri-state area. I really do. And, WVU now has a top 5 men's soccer team. I wouldn't call the men's soccer program top 5 right now because they aren't there very often.
Right.
But Marshall has the longest streak right now for being ranked in the top 25 in men's soccer in the country. They've been in every poll for the last 4 years.
Right.
And look, people around here, if it's Tiddlywinks and their team is winning, they're going to learn about it and go watch and pick up an interest in
That's
it.
Exactly. I personally knew nothing about soccer until my son started playing, and that piqued my interest because he loved it. He got pretty good at it. Was offered college scholarship sport, so I went to soccer games. I don't like soccer. I don't care who knows that. I don't like the game because I don't fully understand the game. And, I say, well, they don't score enough. And then somebody say, yeah, but your favorite sport's baseball. Sometimes they don't score either. But there's things going on in baseball besides scoring. And soccer, and again, I'm not knocking soccer. Those kids are possibly the most athletic kids in the school.
They run
for 90 minutes and nonstop. I mean, they go after it. They get after it. It's a contact sport, in my opinion, because I've seen a lot of stuff go on.
It's rough.
I have nothing against soccer players or soccer teams, coaches, nothing against the sport. It's just not that I personally don't like it. My wife doesn't like football. It's not that she
doesn't want it outlawed. She just doesn't.
Right.
It's not for her.
She can't understand why I sit in front of the TV on Saturday or why I travel all over the state of West Virginia on Friday. Well, she knows why. She knows I love it.
Right.
But there are times when UK, and yes, I'm a UK fan because that's where I'm from, I've left weddings to go watch a UK game. I mean, that's just, and we've
happens.
only had something to cheer about in the UK for the last 4 or 5 years. So
fall weddings.
My son has friends who have gotten married on UK football day, and he has absolutely let them know his vehement displeasure of why anyone in their right mind would have a fall wedding during. I mean, if you're going to have it, fine, but wait till you see what time UK plays.
Right. Get your venue for the day and narrow the time down a little later, maybe in the 12-day window.
That's exactly right.
12-day TV window.
He's a season ticket holder at Commonwealth Stadium, Kroger Field, I should say. So he treats UK football much like you and your dad treat Marshall football. You guys are there all the time, and he travels sometimes, especially to Vandy or to UT or something like that. He'll travel and watch them play occasionally. He's even planned work and vacation times to be in a city solely because UK will be within driving distance of those venues. But oh well, we'll get off our soapbox about that. But I mean, it's just, you got come and support them. I mean, daggone it, come and support them. I don't care what team you like, what team you know. I have gone to football games of 2 teams I've never seen before just because I want to see good football. And honestly, my second introduction to Wayne football was a game I broadcast. The first was a game I broadcast. Then a buddy of mine who was a high school football coach in Kentucky said, man, Wayne is playing after, was it Hoover in 2012, 2013 that you had the home game semifinals?
2013, both years was Robert C. Byrd. And 2012, it was at Wayne. 2013, it was at Huntington High because of the muddy field conditions from the previous week.
We were there in 2012 then, and he said, let's go up there. You ever been there? I said, I've been there once. I did a ball game there back in 94 or 95. And he said, let's go watch it. And we were just absolutely amazed at the atmosphere was unreal.
And you saw that Wayne team play without its top 2 running backs that night. And the defense went, okay, on us, 18-0.
And they still
Robert C. Byrd. And that was the type of game we could have played 4 days. Robert C. Byrd wasn't going to score.
Yeah,
no.
That was a defensive masterpiece. Just heard from Fred once again. Just coming down to the end of the half. Listen to this. Shelby Valley is leading Hurricane 28-3.
Spring
Valley. I mean,
you're in the Kentucky SV.
I am.
That's
Spring Valley. Yeah, he put SV. Spring Valley 28 and Hurricane 3. Wow.
And that's an 0-3 Spring Valley team going into Hurricane, who
has been
quite frankly has been they got beat last week, but Hurricane beat this Winfield team 63-0.
Yeah.
And you and I are watching this Winfield team. They're athletic, they're strong,
they're fast,
and it's like I don't know how they give up 63 to a team that can't beat GW and can't even move the ball against Spring Valley. I start to wonder if something happened at Hurricane. Again, you put so many kids in from so many different places and put them in a community and kick all the community kids off the team, basically not off the team, but they don't play. And
kick them to the bench.
It doesn't work. I thought it might last for a year or 2. I'm not sure it lasted 3 weeks.
It doesn't look like it. And Tosha has scored again. to take a 24-8 lead over Van with about 3 minutes left to go in the half. So I'll tell you what, they put the 3 minutes back up, and Coach Tommy Harmons must still be taking the paint off the walls down in the locker room. They're not back out yet. Oh, there they are. I was looking down here. Yeah, they are back out. I'm sorry. Well, let's take a quick break, which I started to take 12 minutes ago.
This is a long halftime, so we have to go a little time.
And why not? Two friends sitting and talking. Well, I know you all love to hear it. You know you do. We'll be back in a minute here on the Gridiron Sports Network.
This presentation of Pioneer Football is sponsored by Rustic Ravines. Rustic Ravines offers deluxe cabin rentals and special event planning, as well as some of the best ATV riding and hiking trails in the country. You'll also find kayaking and canoeing, a 3D bow range, fishing, hunting, golfing, and a pet and horse-friendly resort. Rustic Ravines can be found on Facebook or 304-385-1085.
Listening to high school football action on 90.7 WFGH.
Welcome back in to the Gridiron Sports Network. Tim Carper along with Ryan Epling. Do want to thank Joe and the gang at Rustic Ravines. Man, they have stepped up, and without them, folks, you wouldn't be hearing me on the air every week with Wayne football. It's been a great partnership with Joe and the gang at Rustic Ravines. We really appreciate them for basically they just sponsor, they pay my way. So for 3 years I did it for nothing and actually lost money. Now I'm not making anything but not losing anything.
Buddy, let me tell you, gas is a whole lot more expensive right now than it was in 2020.
Absolutely. My first game was in 2019. I'll tell you a little story real quick. In 2019, Fred asked me if I'd help out, and that's.
Can you help us with a game? That's usually how it starts.
And it was me and Donnie Likens.
Yeah.
Did a couple of games there in 2019, and then 2020 was an interesting year for everyone. Mm-hmm. And been doing it ever since and loving it. Saw your dad prior to the game.
Yeah,
he was.
He's on the opposite side there in the visiting
across
bleachers.
the way. I'm sure if we looked hard enough, we could pick him up. I'm sure you probably already.
Thought I did, but now that most people have ever gone to the Jackets, it's he doesn't quite stand out as much.
Harder to say, yeah.
And it's interesting because you look outside and people put on the long sleeves, people put on the hoodies. It's warm
I'm
where
sweating.
we are.
That's why I opened the door. There's an air conditioner.
And it was cool before the game. So, I mean, it just
got warm up here.
Yes, sir. I don't know. Maybe it's all that hot air
It's probably all the hot air you're spewing out.
Yeah, it's clearly me. Right into this window and right back.
Right back at it. Drew Mann set to kick it away for the. No, excuse me. They've gone ahead and let Aiden Hernandez going to kick it off this time. And three guys back deep. Fry is back there. I believe Staley is back there, and Hayton is back there. For the Pioneers, as they'll take the kick, it will come to Staley at the 4-yard line. He'll bring it down across the 10 to the 15 and up close to the 20-yard line, and that's it. Nice kick. Staley gets it back out near the 20. Let's see where they spot it. He took that ball right at the 4-yard line, and they're going to say it's right at the 20-yard line. So it's always funny how those kickoffs generally, they just somehow end up on a nice even yard marker, don't they?
And Aiden Douglas made that tackle. And just to give you an idea of the athleticism for Winfield, he's listed as a offensive lineman / defensive back. Mm-hmm. Because that's natural, right?
Right, always.
5'9", 190, and he tracked Ronnie Staley the whole way there. And Staley can move.
Just a sophomore. Hand off on a jet sweep to Ryland Murdoch, who picks up some yardage across the far side of the field out to, looks like he got across the 25, possibly to the 26, maybe the 27-yard line. They're going to give him the 27, so a 7-yard pickup that time for Murdoch.
That's Wayne's longest run of the night.
That just doubled their output.
Got them into positive yardage on the ground.
And so on 2nd and 3, they'll break huddle, and they're bunched up. Nobody wide. 2 tight ends. They are showing just a jumbo power package right now, and they fake it to Dameron. They hand it off to the second back through, close to first down yardage, trying to check that Murdoch again.
That was Mathis, and he needed to get right to the 30. I think he's about an inch short.
That was Colton Mathis, 17 instead of 7.
About the nose of the ball short. And it looked like he had some space to run into, and again, closes up fast. And he's kind of a jitterbug. Sometimes he doesn't look like he has space, and he finds a little. That time, it looked like he might have some, but he did not.
It closed quick. Those corners crack down very fast, especially Trevin Turner. So 3rd and inches. They're going to go once again. And this time it's Colton Mathis once again, and he's got first down yardage as he gets across the 30 out close to the 35-yard line.
Very fortunate. He fumbled the football.
In the air.
And it bounced right back to him like he dribbled it.
Yeah.
And he just kept right on going with it, ended up with 6 yards. And I'll tell you what, Tim, when Wayne's been under center in more of a traditional wing T look, they've had a little bit more success running the ball. Their spread pistol double wing has not gotten them the advantages they would like.
And that's why Coach Tom Harmon has gone back to this, and now they're going to spread it out to the pistol with twins to the near side. Nope, they're going back up under center. They're just widening it out. Now they'll go to the pistol. Dameron will flank the right. They fake the handoff, and Fry's going to try it. He'll go across the right side, get across the 35 up to about the 38-yard line, and flags came in very late on that one.
I think Toby Lawfery just got called for targeting. I think he went head-on straight into Fisher Fry. I don't think there was any ill intent, but that's the game we play now.
Yep.
You cannot lead with the crown of your helmet.
Unsportsmanlike conduct is what they're calling instead of targeting. So
well, that's different, but
maybe he hit him with his hands more than his head. Who knows? But they're going to call unsportsmanlike against Lafferty. And that will move the football into Wayne territory, all the way down to the general 47-yard line.
Yeah, he signaled dead ball, dead ball.
Dead ball, unsportsmanlike. Yep. So whatever happened after the play. Now Wayne back in that wing T, no wideouts. They give it to Dameron, and Dameron barrels his way across the 45 up to about the 42-yard line. Let's see what they give him. Yeah, they're going to say the 43. Well, about the 42-yard line. So a nice gain for Jackson Dameron, who was a 1,000-yard rusher last year. Not gotten really much into any kind of offensive flow this year after the kind of the change in offensive philosophy for Coach Tom Harmon.
Yeah, he's at 65 yards for the season right now.
And they'll give it to the first back through, and I believe that was Dameron again. And he's got across the 40 up to about the 39-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and actually they'll give him the 38. So 3rd down and a long yard, a short 2.
Hey, there's a perception that you get Kanawha Valley officiating. It doesn't always go your way. Wayne's been the beneficiary of some friendly spots from that opposite side all night.
They have, for sure. Maybe that's a Wayne transplant or something. They give the ball off to Mathis and nothing doing there. Oh, he bounced back off. And Coach Smolder is absolutely reaming this linesman on this side. What's he supposed to do? The play is all the way on the other end of the field.
And they never did get Mathis down. His forward progress was stopped, but it's right at the first down marker. And boy, how did he not go down?
I have no idea. I had him down already, and I think that's what Coach Smolder was wondering.
Maybe he was one like in the grass type of
why the
thing.
Whistle didn't blow. But, I mean, why attack this poor fella? The ball's on the far hash. I mean, it was snapped from the far hash and ran to the right. How is this guy on the near side of the field going to call anything? He can't. He absolutely can't blow it.
There are some people on the near side who don't understand why the ball spotted there because they saw the initial contact. But he never went down. He kept moving forward. The ball was marked at the right time. That's where his forward progress was stopped. It was right where it is. We'll see if it's a first down.
Looks like it's 1 inch short.
That is a chain link short.
Yep. Well, you got to go for it. Your 4th down.
That officially goes as one of the most impressive no-gain runs that I've ever seen. I mean, he moved the ball 3/4 of a yard, but it's still can't give you that yard.
Well, he was definitely hit 2 yards in the backfield. No question about it.
I mean, he was hit square in the face.
Yep.
I mean, that wasn't like somebody got an arm on him. He was squared up.
He was squared up 2
away.
yards in the backfield. So let's see if Fry will try a little sneak here. Oh, they're give it off to Mathis. He's got the first down yardage. It's a foul move, but that looked like a busted play. It sure looked like he wanted to hand it off to Dameron, but Dameron darted past him, so he was able to stick it in the belly of Mathis, and Mathis gets first down yardage as he gets out to the 36-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Pioneers. Tosha's added another touchdown. Still a minute 50 to go in the first half. Tosha leads Van 30-8. Thanks, Fred, for passing those scores along. The Rebels looking for that big win.
Yeah, rough night for the small school out of Boone County.
They'll give it to Mathis once again, and they've gone to the well 3 times in a row and not gotten a great deal there. He'll get across the 35. It looks like maybe to the 34, so a gain of a couple, and that will bring up 2nd down and about 8. Well, actually, they move it back up to the 33. So
gave him 3 there.
Gave him 3 yards on that one. That official just took a big step forward and put it down. We'll take it. This time they give it to Dameron on the first back through, and the pile moves all the way down near the 30-yard line. Jackson Dameron is a hard runner.
When he gets his shoulders square to the line and can dip and go,
he's
strong. You got to get him immediately, because if he gets that shoulder down, he's going to get 3 no matter what.
And that's about what he got there. Maybe they'll give him the 30-yard line. So it's going to bring up 3rd down and a short 4. You got to know you're in 4-down territory here. They'll give it to Mathis once again. He turns the corner. He's got some room as he gets across the 25 up near the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Pioneers. Mathis able to, he kind of juked that one like he was going to cut it back inside, bounced it to the outside, able to get around that defensive end or that outside linebacker actually, and gets to the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Pioneers.
Looks very similar to that 4th quarter touchdown he scored against Scott 2 weeks ago, where he takes a step forward. He's like a jitterbug. Sometimes it looks like there's no space and he'll pop through, and then that time he was able to step forward, bounce it back out right, and get around the outside.
Back up under center. They'll give it to Dameron. Dameron finds some room up the gut. Still moving the pile. He's still moving. My goodness. He looked like they were riding him like a Walmart pony and kept putting quarters in, and he kept right on chugging inside the 10-yard line. Nice run for Jackson Dameron down to the 8. Those guys just jumped on his back, and as I said, they were riding him like a Walmart pony.
Got to finish this drive, Tim. This has been the best drive of the game so far for Wayne. Best drive of the season. Got to finish it.
They give it to Mathis. He bounces it to the outside. Put 6 on the board for the Pioneers. Colton Mathis from 8 yards out, and the Pioneers draw to within 6. 20-14. And folks, that drive was a classic Wayne Pioneer drive. It took 6.5 minutes, a little more than 6.5 minutes off the clock. 5:17 remaining. This was the opening drive of that second half. E-step on to attempt the point after touchdown. Snap is back, hold is down, kick is up, and it's right down Broadway. And the Pioneers add the PAT, and with 5:17 to go here in this third period, your score now, Winfield 20, Wayne 15. Back in a moment on the Gridiron Sports Network.
This sports presentation is brought to you by our valued community partner, Rustic Ravines. Here's what the Evans family had to say about their experience.
We had the best time. Everyone was friendly, professional, and made us feel welcomed. We rented a side-by-side for a 5-hour ride with our guide through the beautiful mountains of West Virginia. We highly recommend, and we'll be back.
Rustic Ravines can be found on Facebook, or their phone number is 304-385-1085.
You're listening to high school football action on 90.7 FM WFGH.
E-step puts the boot to it. It's going to be taken back at the 10-yard line. by Hernandez, and he'll get out to about the 25, maybe the 26-yard line. And he's down. Maybe not him. No, it's not him that's down. Hernandez is up with the football, but someone on that far side in a green jersey is down and grabbing a lower leg. Never good unless it's a cramp, and I don't think that's a cramp. Halftime, Tulsa over Van 30-8. So the schools of Wayne County representing themselves well here tonight, although the Pioneers are behind, but looking much, much improved here in the second half. And let's see if the defense can get them a 3-and-out here. It can be quite a feat, and it would be nice.
But while they attend to the injured Winfield player, Tim, first half, Wayne 13 carries, minus 6 yards on the ground. That drive, 13 plays, 67 yards, all on the ground. Now, if you've been around Wayne football long enough, you know that first half, with the way it played out, Tom Harmon is stubborn. He will see that, and he doesn't say, okay, we can't run it, we have to throw it. He's going to go, well, how can we run it?
Right.
Let's find a way to
what do we need
put
to
them in a phone booth. And Wayne just lined up straight forward football.
That was an absolute phone booth offense, double wing T, but without the split end, brought in an extra tight end, and basically
moved the front four that they hadn't moved at all in the first half.
They basically just blew them off the line of scrimmage. So we have the general that was hurt coming off the field with help. Still can't see a number. He's a big boy.
Good size athlete.
He's a large lad. There's no doubt about that. Is that number 40?
Landon Hill, I believe.
That's 5'7", 170.
He's a tall 5'7".
That's what number he's wearing.
Maybe they didn't stretch out the tape.
He looks a whole lot bigger to me than 170.
He looks a good 5'10", at least.
And more than 170. That kid's pushing 200 pounds if he's announced.
Yeah.
All right, well, Winfield's going to try to put it in the phone booth now. And they go to Pearson. And he'll gain across the 30 up to about the 32-yard line. So a gain of about 4 on the play. Close to 5. Bring up second and 5, we'll call it, from the 32.
Pearson will fumble tonight. I don't know when.
You heard it here.
It's going to happen.
I formation. They go to Miller. That was absolutely a belly option there, and he rode it. He rode Miller a long time, did Pinkerton. It was a zone read, basically, and he rode that ball in there a long time and decided to leave it and made the right calls. Miller was able to make the first down out to the 39-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Generals.
Yeah, Pinkerton went about 3 or 4 yards down the field with him before he
held it right in his gut.
Yeah.
He was reading the linebacker.
Well executed play. And you have to give the hats off to the Winfield coaching staff, because to get a backup quarterback this ready to play, you know he's got a lot of reps in.
Absolutely. And this time it's that quarterback keep, and he finds some room. Gets away from one tackler, but not the second one. Nice job there. I'm trying to get who that was.
That's Colton Mathis again.
Yeah, nope. Yep, it was Colton Mathis who came in. He's cramping up. He's grabbing his big toe and pulling it up.
And Wayne needs him to stay on the field. He has been the most sure tackler.
He and Tristan Turner have been all over the field here tonight. Turner playing that inside linebacker on the side with Mathis. They send Pearson in motion. They try a little counter play to the far side, and speaking of Turner, he just popped Matthew Daly, the ball carrier. After Daly was able to get to the second level, he said, hello, Mr. Turner. And Tristan introduced himself rather rudely to him as he dropped him to the ground. After a short pickup, we'll bring up 3rd down and 3. Ball spotted at the 47-yard line. Actually, 3rd and 2. They need to get to just past the 49. And here's another keep. They faked it beautifully. And I'll tell you what, Pinkerton He is so shifty, and Wayne bought the fake hook, line, and sinker to the inside handoff, and Pinkerton able to bounce it to the outside, gets across the Wayne 40 down to the 38-yard line. 20-15 your score with 2:43 left to play here in the third period. Wayne trails it by 5, needing a stop here.
Pinkerton now over 100 yards on the ground. 104 on 10 carries.
He's shifty, no doubt about it. They give it to Pearson as he tries the edge and doesn't get there. Wayne collapses it, but then he comes back to the inside, cuts back to the outside, and he may go. And he does. Well, he was stopped at the line of scrimmage, cut it back to the inside, and then shifted quickly back to the outside. And, boy, he went in from, what was that, 38 yards?
38 yards, and big stiff arm there to finish the run as Ronnie Staley couldn't reach it. Like he was trying to get in position to make the tackle, and
just couldn't
caught that stiff arm, and that was all she wrote. Pearson now over 100 yards on the night. 127 on 9 carries, and his first touchdown.
Looks like they're going to go for 2 here. Up 11. We send the man in motion. They give it to the motion man, then a reverse, and then a pass out of the reverse. So a little chicanery going on there. Falls incomplete as Caden Hayton was not fooled at all and was able to just knock that one down. And so the 2-point conversion fails. But with 2:19 remaining here in the third period, your score now, Winfield 26, Wayne 15. Back in a moment on the Gridiron Sports Network.
The real Don Steele. Live from the 60s. All right. I'm going to tell you, you can't listen to this one sitting down. So come on, everybody. Now I want you to do that funny little thing you do with your mouth here. Okay, pucker up. That's it. I love it. Sly and the Family Stone, ladies.
Live from the 60s with a real Don Steele, Monday at 7 on WFGH.
You're listening to high school football action on 90.7 FM WFGH.
Well, how can you listen to that real Don Steele promo and not sit and dance in your chair? That's a dandy. Here's the kickoff from Hernandez. Is going to go to the end zone. And Ronnie Staley wanted to run that out, but in high school football, if the ball gets to the end zone, then it is a touchback and will come out to the 25-yard line. Probably a better move there. Staley probably should have downed it anyway. But anytime the ball gets to the end zone, you cannot run it out of the end zone. So, comes out to the 25. I thought it came to 25.
No,
Is it 20,
it's
20 in high school,
yeah.
25 in college? Okay.
Again, this used to be uniform. It was easy to keep up with, and now everybody does it different. They change the rules every 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
It's just, now you got fair catches that put the ball to 25.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, well. 20-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Pioneers. They give it to the first back through. Once again, that's Dameron. And not sure he got much. No, yes, it is Dameron. And we got a player down. Looks like a Pioneer player down. And grabbing a knee. Can't see who it is. Trading stabs from both schools quickly on the scene. Would think it would be an interior lineman from where things happened, but can't be sure. Could have been a tight end or a wingback. Dameron got a yard, and that's it. Got to the 21. It's about time for Jackson Dameron to break what. Warming up down here on the sideline is Jared Miller. Don't know why they want to take Pinkerton out. He's had a heck of a night. He's had a career night. Well, that's the elusive number 58. But we don't know who that is tonight. We have no 58 on our roster. I have a sneaky suspicion that might be Braden Eves, but well,
I'm not sure even there. Ray Neves is like 6'6".
That kid's a pretty good-sized boy. Nonetheless, they'll get it off to Staley, and here comes a flag, and that may be the first flag against the Pioneers. It's going to be a hold, and it was. It was on the back side of the play, but it was an absolute hold. And so that one's going to come back. Staley had picked up 3 or 4. I don't think they'd want to decline this one. It would bring up third and about 5.
With Wayne's troubles tonight, definitely
move them on back.
Because 2nd and 15 versus 3rd and 4 roughly. That's going to be actually longer than 15. It's going to be 2nd and 17.
Yep.
Come on, defense!
So, with 1:53 to play here in the third, the Pioneers facing a 2nd and 17 around their own 14-yard line. Back to throw is Fry. Comes to the near side. Double coverage, and I'll tell you what, Kate Estep became a defensive back right there and did a great job to knock that ball away from Kwan Pearson.
That was great coverage. I mean, the ball was thrown well, the route was run well, and the ball was played well by the defense. That's good football play all around.
All the way around. And a good offensive play by Kate Estep to knock that one away. Fry's already thrown 1 interception tonight, and that one could have been disastrous.
If the defender hadn't played it right, the ball was in a good spot to go with.
Yep. Fry from the shotgun. Sends a man in motion. High snap. They hand it off. They give it up this time to Hayton, and he gets out to about the 14-yard line, and that's about it. It's going to be 4th down and unreachable for the Pioneers. So they'll punt it away after scoring on their first drive of the half, a 3-and-out. Here on their second drive, they trail 26-15 with 1:10 to go here in the third. Fisher Fry in punt formation. Trevin Tanner stands near midfield. Good snap. A high but short wobbly kick. That's going to take a bounce sideways to the 35-yard line. It's only about a 21-yard punt. Gives Winfield great field position for their second possession of the second half.
It's amazing how the momentum turns
quickly.
Just about 5 minutes of playtime ago,
it was 3rd and 4.
It felt like Wayne was, one defensive play away from a stop, and Winfield makes a play offensively and springs back to life, and all of a sudden now, Generals with a 2-score lead and the ball deep in Wayne territory.
Out of the shotgun. Twins to the far side. High snap and a big rush, and Pinkerton finds his way forward. Out of what could have been a disaster, Harry Sowards comes up to make the play, but not before Pinkerton picks up 4 to the 31-yard line. And this will be possibly the final play of the third period. They will have to snap the football as the 5-second differential between the play clock and the game clock. Pinkerton this time is up under center. Sends a man in motion. That's Pearson. Hands it off to Miller, and he gets across the 30 to about the 28-yard line. So a pickup of a couple, maybe 3. Now they're going to give him the 29. So that's going to be the end of the third period. Your score with 12 left to play. Winfield 26, Wayne 15. Back in a moment on the Gridiron Sports Network.
In the fabric of America, they are the toughest threads. One of the first things they learned was the code that every service member lives by. Leave no one behind. Now all of us need to live by it too, because some veterans are being left behind. 20 of them take their own lives every day. Learn how to be there for a veteran at BeThereForVeterans.com. Honor the code. Be there. Leave no one behind.
You're listening to high school football action on Sports Radio 90.7 WFGH.
Tim Carper, Ryan Epling with you here from Winfield High School. After 3 quarters of play, the Winfield Generals lead the Wayne Pioneers 26-15. Winfield has the ball, facing a 3rd and 6 on the Wayne 29-yard line. You got to think they're probably in 4-down territory here as well. But if you're Wayne, after that short punt and woeful second drive of this second half, you need to get them off the field.
Wayne has no choice here. You cannot give up points.
And it looks like Winfield having some trouble getting the play call that they want. Play clock is down to 10. They get it. They hand it off to Pearson. He goes to the outside, cuts it back to the inside, close to first down yardage as the pile keeps moving. And I think they got the first down.
Yeah, not a bad option. Turn around and give the ball to K1 Pearson. It's been a successful one tonight.
No doubt about that.
He's up to 135 yards on 10 carries.
So he'll get down to the 23-yard line. Plenty for the first down. So a fresh set of downs for the Winfield Generals. Clock running with 11:35 to go in the ball game. Generals lead at 26-15. Single wide out to the near side, and that's Hernandez. And they're going to throw it to him on a slant. It's caught. He splits 2 defenders, but finally brought down, that time by Zane Adkins, at about the 9-yard line. So it'll be a 1st and goal situation for the Generals. And boy, I mean, Ray Charles could have seen what was going to happen there. When they split Hernandez out that wide, all by himself on an island, they're throwing to him. So it's 1st and goal from the 9. Up under center comes Pinkerton, excuse me. Hands it off to Miller. No, he keeps it. He tried to hand it off to Miller. It was a zone read, and he kept it and tried to get to the edge, but was brought down on the far side, and a nice tackle. I think that was Caden Hayton that got him over there on the far side.
It looked like Pinkerton kept it on the dive, the belly option there, and looked for a minute like that right side opened up, but
closed up.
Wayne was able
quick
to bounce him out to the sideline, and Hayton went and got him.
So Hayton came up from that corner to fill in the gap that he's supposed to fill, and did so admirably. Pinkerton sends a man in motion. Pearson. They do a little reverse, and not much there. As handing the ball off to Matthew Daly, number 32, and he gets maybe a yard, if that. So it's going to be 3rd and goal from around the 10-yard line. They'll call it the 9.
Well, Winfield is a really good misdirection team, but Tim, straight ahead has been their best option.
Absolutely. They're in a bunch formation, and they're going to call a timeout. They don't like what they see on the Wayne defensive side of the football. So Coach Smolder wants to talk about it for a moment. With 10:24 remaining here in the ball game, your score, Wayne trails Winfield 26-15 on the Gridiron Sports Network.
It's that very special time of the year, and that means it's time for high school football. This is Fred Persinger inviting you to join Dave, Jacqueline, and me every Friday night this fall for high school game night on the Metro News Radio Network. We'll bring you all the scores, stories, and interviews from high school football games being played all over the state. High school game night, 17 years and going strong. Heard every Friday night.
After the game tonight on the Superstation Network.
You're listening to high school football action on 90.7 WFGH.
Game night keeps me awake on the drive home, generally. I love listening to Fred and Dave. They let me call in. I'm sure they missed me last week.
Yeah, that show's been going 25 plus years. Oh, yeah. I know they missed you last week. 25 plus years now. And What a treat. How fortunate are we as high school football fans in the state of West Virginia to have that type of...
you hear from every...
So you can hear it from just about anywhere in the state.
Right. Every broadcaster, coach. It's incredible what they do, and I appreciate it very much so.
3 best hours of radio of the week.
3rd and goal from the 9. Pinkerton up under center. He's going to keep it, and he got maybe 2. Not much more as Harry Sowards came up to make the stop.
One of the little things that won't go on a stat sheet anywhere, Tristan Turner had a chance to kind of spear him late there and was able to go over him instead of right down on him. And you could tell he was trying to avoid him, but he committed it. So
and that would have been first and goal. So going for it, I'm kind of surprised they're not kicking a field goal here to go up 14, but apparently very confident in their offense, in their defense, and there's going to be a sack. Nice job. Jackson Dameron got in and brought Pinkerton down for a sack. So over on downs all the way back to the 15-yard line. So first and goal turns into an over on downs at the 15-yard line for the Wayne Pioneers with 9:42 remaining. They're down 11. 2 scores here. They've got to move the football, move it efficiently and quickly. And honestly, this offense has never had the proclivity of going fast down the field.
This is a Wayne team. You see the speed and quickness of Mathis. You see Staley can run too. They haven't had any big plays this year.
Nope, they've not broken anything huge. That's for sure.
If they get one back quick, they can settle in and play football.
Yep. Fry back to throw. Into the flats it comes to Murdoch. Murdoch gets roughed out of bounds at about the 36-yard line. Close to first down yardage. Should be a first down.
Yeah, Loffery's shaking his head at him like it was a really great defensive play, but it's a good hit. But it's an 11-yard play. Wayne will take that all the way down the field. You can talk all you want.
Yep. I'll take about 7 of those and score.
And if you say a little too much, you get your second unsportsmanlike, you're done for the day.
That's exactly right. Fry out of the shotgun. Play clock's at 10. They finally get the play they want. They send a man in motion. That's Dameron. Rolling out to the far side is Fry. Lets it fly. Has a man in the middle of the field. Caught at the 40-yard line by Ronnie Staley. Nice catch. Nice throw. And we've got a man down for the Generals back at the line of scrimmage. Staley took a hit from Pearson as he caught that football. There was nothing dirty at all. Don't get me wrong. It was perfectly timed. And, he made a great catch. A great catch because he was Pearson was step for step with him on that entire play. And Fry put it only where he could catch it.
What a throw from Fisher Fry. Under pressure, on the run. As we said, he missed a couple of those earlier. He made a play there. That wasn't a normal play. That was out of the ordinary, and he did a fantastic job. He saw Staley. He kept his eyes up with the rush coming, found the open spot on the field, throw it, let Ronnie go get it. And that's exactly what he did.
He threw that ball from the 25-yard line on the run back across the field to the opposing team's 40. Yeah, that's a pretty good throw.
Yeah, he threw that 35 down and about 20 across.
Right.
So that ball had some...
Get out your protractors, and we could figure that out with the Pythagorean theorem, probably.
Yeah, he was outside the far hash.
Yeah.
Threw it to the near hash. That was the most impressive play of the night from Fisher Fry. Perhaps the most impressive play I've seen from him this season.
The spot
you can't rely on that.
No.
But you'll take it.
You'll definitely take it when you need 2 scores with 9 minutes to go in the ballgame. So, injured player appears to be Robert Ballesteros. Ballesteros, a senior, 6 foot, 200-pounder.
The running joke was always that players would be listed a little bit bigger than they were. I think Winfield lists them just a little light.
I think they shrink them. Yeah,
I really do.
I think they definitely shrunk this kid that's 5'2", 95 pounds. I still haven't found him. I have found the number 41 I was looking for, too, that was 5'7", 145, and he's right in front of me. He doesn't weigh 100 pounds.
He doesn't make it to 145, no.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way in the world that kid weighs 145 pounds. So they have added to him. He might have been holding about 10 gallons of water when they weighed him. Fry has twins either way. Slot receiver to the far side. Big rush coming. He lets it go across the middle of the field. It was caught. That was a slip screen designed. It's only going to gain about 4 or 5 yards. But they let that backer come on purpose, and Fry got rid of it just in time to Jackson Dameron. And Dameron will get down to the 38-yard line, so gain of about 3. We'll bring up 2nd and 7. Clock running with 8 minutes, 10 seconds to go. Pioneers trail 26-15. Twins to the far side. Twins to the near side. Dameron in a slot to the near side. They'll send Dameron in motion now to the far side. Fry has that ball knocked down in a great play by K'Wan Pearson, who was coming hard. And Fry had to get rid of it. Pearson went up in the air, got a finger on the football, actually got a hand on the football, maybe an elbow on the football. It fell very harmlessly to the turf. And now the Pioneers facing a 3rd and 7, obviously in 4-down territory here. You cannot give the ball back.
Wayne's been a big screen team this year, had some success with it against Scott, had some success on the screen against Tulsa. Winfield has read those screens tonight.
And they better hurry. Play clock's at 5. Fry needs to get this one snapped, and he does. They give it off to Murdoch. And he'll get up to about the 35-yard line. Excuse me, that was Mathis, not Murdoch. Murdoch was back there with him, but it was Mathis who actually got the football, and he'll get up to the 35-yard line. So it'll be 4th at about 4.
And that's Tom Harmon saying we're in 4-down territory. If on 3rd and 8 we don't have to complete a pass, we'll try to get it in 2 plays.
We need to get half of it.
Yeah.
We can get half of it twice, we get it. Dameron in the backfield. Bunch formation. They fake it to Dameron. Out to throw. Fry has a man caught by Grady Spradlin, and he's going to go all the way down inside the 20, inside the 15, to about the 11-yard line. Grady Spradlin, who was the starting quarterback against this Winfield team last year, was knocked out for the season in that game. This year coming back as a tight end. And 1st and 10 for the Pioneers. This time they give it to Jackson Dameron. He is moving the pile, still moving the pile. He gets down near the 5-yard line. They can get a first down. Actually, they can get an easy first down. The ball was spotted back at the 13. I thought it was much closer to the 11. But nonetheless, a 5-yard pickup for Dameron. Bring up 2nd and 5. This time they give it to the second back through, and that is Mathis. And not much there for Colton Mathis. No gain at all. So to bring up 3rd and 5. And Mathis is, in that last defensive series, he was reaching down and grabbing his toe and pulling it up as though he were cramping. And I hope that's the only problem right now. The way he's acting, it's a cramp. That right foot looks like that whole foot is curled up. They don't even work on it. They're just getting him up and getting him over so they can stretch it out. So it's going to be, they'll give him a yard on that carry. It's going to bring up 3rd and 4. The ball is right at the 6-yard line. There is 6 minutes, 11 seconds left to play in this football game. Pioneers have to come away with a touchdown here to have any chance. You get this one, you got to go for 2. Get to within a field goal. But that's down the road. Here comes Fry up under center. He's going to back to throw. Has a man wide open in the end zone. Put 6 on the board for the Pioneers. Grady Spradlin hauls it in on the far side of the football field, and the Pioneers draw within a score.
I'll tell you what, Fisher Fry had his pick.
Yeah,
he had three white jerseys standing alone in the end zone.
Absolutely.
And he said, all right, Grady, this one's for you.
Yep.
Threw it right to him.
Well, Grady threw some to him last
There you
year,
go,
so
yeah.
he's returning the favor. Spradlin, a 5'11", 189-pound senior, played that ball beautifully. I mean, he was wide open. They were expecting a run to Dameron up the gut. You could see it. They were collapsing in the gut. They bought the fake, and Fry had, as you said, 3 receivers to choose from on that one. And they're going for 2. They give it off this time to Murdoch, and he is just absolutely covered in the backfield. So the 2-point conversion fails, but with 6 minutes and 1 second left to play in this football game, your score, Winfield 26, Wayne 21. Back in a moment on the Gridiron Sports Network.
This presentation of Pioneer Football is sponsored by Rustic Ravines. Rustic Ravines offers deluxe cabin rentals and special event planning, as well as some of the best ATV riding and hiking trails in the country. You'll also find kayaking and canoeing, a 3D bow range, fishing, hunting, golfing, and a pet and horse-friendly resort. Rustic Ravines can be found on Facebook, or their phone number is 304-385-1085.
You're listening to high school football action on 90.7 FM, WFGH.
All right, here we go. Katie Step set to put the boot to it. Hard kick to the left side, and that's going to go out of bounds. Not going to give Tanner a chance to return that one, but it will bring the football out to the 35-yard line.
Winfield was expecting an onside kick.
Yes, they were. Or Winfield could, and maybe should, make them kick it again.
I think if you're Winfield, you just want the ball. I think you're worried more about just having the ball in hand versus the field position. Any other time in the game, I fully agree with you because their returns have been strong.
They have.
But yeah,
but then
you can control the clock with your hands on the ball.
You do that in Wayne Mayon side and get it. So you're right. So here we go. 6 minutes left to play in this ball game. 26-21. Winfield has the ball 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line. Play clock down to 10. Long. Oh, there was movement. Big time movement. This one's coming back. This one's coming back. The wing back on the near side took off. It's an illegal shift.
And if he hadn't taken the jab forward before stepping back, he'd have been fine because he would have been in legal motion. But he jabbed forward, then stepped back.
And you cannot go forward. Motion is legal, and I think Wayne is taking a timeout here. Motion is legal. But you cannot motion forward in any stretch of the imagination.
And that sudden movement is a quote-unquote football move.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if it's written that way, but that's what
they all. Everything any day you have to have a football move. If you catch the football before it's a fumble, you have to make a football move.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's defined anywhere.
No.
Not good anyway. Oh, goodness. Remind you, coming up after this one, Ryan will have some of the stats for you. Do you have to write for this one?
No, sir. Rick Farlow covering for HD Media tonight, so that will be in the paper hopefully tomorrow. I don't know their deadline. It'll be online for sure, but they don't have a Sunday or Monday paper now, so if it's not in tomorrow, it'll make it in the Wayne County News at least that comes out midweek.
Well, it's 9:10. This game should be over by 9:30, so
yeah, but
surely their deadline.
No, those deadlines are not football friendly.
1st and 15. They're going to give it off to Pearson, and he got maybe 4 as he gets up to about the 34-yard line. KD Step and Ryland Murdoch come up to make the stop.
Yeah, in the now 16 years I've written for the paper off and on, it has changed. That deadline went from midnight to 11 to 10.
Wow. How do they get anything in?
They don't. But it goes online still that night, even if it doesn't make it into print.
Right. So 2nd and 11. They give the ball to Pearson once again. Nothing doing as he tries the right side, and he is met by a host of Pioneers on that far side. Leading the charge once again was Ryland Murdoch, and there's an injured player on the field. I believe that was Pearson. He got up and fell down and trying to get back up and now down again.
I think that's a cramp. I hope that's a cramp. I don't think that, hopefully it's not anything more. But when he turned that shoulder, and I thought, okay, here he goes with a run toward the line, and somebody got him by the legs and just wrapped him up.
Wrapped him right down. Well, it looks like the Tulsa Rebels are going to pick up their first victory of the season. They lead Van 38-8. Still 7 minutes left to go in the third, so a lot of football there, but they have, that was Pearson. So you hate to see anybody hurt, but on the plus side, if you have to see a positive in every situation, he can't play this down.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Although it's 3rd and 11, I think this is probably going to be a pass play to Hernandez. But
well, with Wayne with one timeout, if I'm Winfield, I spread Hernandez wide and see how the defense lines up.
Right.
And if they leave him that slant, I throw it. If they don't, I run it.
Single coverage over here.
But with a slot receiver, you kind of take that window away.
Yep. E-Step is in single coverage. They're going to do a little pitch forward. And brought down from behind is Jackson Dameron, brought down Jace Miller, and he got maybe a yard. So it's going to be 4th and 10 after that 5-yard penalty. 4:40 left to play in the ball game, and Wayne is going to get the football back with about 4.5 minutes left to play.
That was that inverted option again.
Yep.
Winfield's had trouble. Last punt, punter dropped the snap.
Just
starts to get a little.
Don't jump off, and they get the punt off. They do not rough him. They're going to let the ball hit at about the 40 or 35-yard line. It'll roll down to about the 30, maybe the 29. So Wayne will get the football with 4 minutes and 16 seconds left to play. And it's a good one here in Winfield, West Virginia. We're not going anywhere. I'll start to take a break. We're going to stay here. Ryan and I have kicked the stools back behind us. We're going to stand up for this final 4:15. Well, you got to give the Wayne defense a lot of credit there. You got to give this entire team a lot of credit. Early on, it did not look good, especially the offense in that first half.
No. 1 through 11, Wayne has been slightly outmanned tonight, and they are fighting.
They'll give the ball off to Mathis. He'll try the left side and pick up a yard, maybe 2. I'm going to cut these lights off so we can see a little better.
Yeah, because all I can see right now, you and me, the reflection in the glass. 4 minutes, 1 timeout. You have time.
Yep. You get a yard there. You're 2nd and 9. Ball is spotted at the Pioneer 33. They are taking a little more time than I would like in the huddle, but last series they were able to throw the football. Let's see what they do here. They've got twins to the near side. They give it to the first back through. I believe that was Dameron. And Dameron will pick up 2, maybe 3. As they went right back up the gut with Jackson Dameron. He gets to the 35-yard line, so it's going to be 3rd and a long 5. Maybe a short, maybe move it back to the 34. So it's going to be 3rd and about 7.
And Wayne just called its final timeout.
3:11 left to play in this one. Well, you got to get it. You've got 4 downs here, no question about that. So we'll see what the old ball coach Tom Harmon pulls out.
And I think by calling that timeout, you kind of tip your hand. You're going to throw it twice, get the first down instead of trying to run it. But if you get that first down, you can go back to run. You still have time.
Right.
You can do enough to keep Winfield honest, is what I'm saying. They can't just pin their ears back, although I think on this 3rd down, I think you're going to see heavy pressure.
I think they'll be blitzing like nobody's business.
If you find the right play, make them pay.
If you can get a good slip screen, bubble screen or something. Whew.
But they have tackled really well.
They have.
Tonight. They really have.
If they bring their backers and you get that bubble screen man behind their backers and get 2 guys out to block the corner and the safety, you are done. You are gone. Assuming you can get it off before the quarterback gets hit.
There's a lot of
ifs and buts right there.
Wayne loves pop pass out of this formation. Watch the tight end.
They're going to fake the handoff, play action pass. Fry looking down the field. That might be intercepted. It's going to be. Fry threw it right into the hands of number 12, Easton Pinkerton. I should know that number, and very fortunate they didn't get a horse collar called on that play. So the interception, and I don't know about that play, Ryan. Honestly, I'm not a football coach, but I think you've got 2 downs where you are to get 8 yards. Why go for the long one there?
And Wayne had shorter routes.
Yep.
I think he felt Murdoch was deep. Murdoch threw the hand up.
Yep.
But the safety was 10 yards behind him.
Yep.
So that ball needed to be on a line and short. And Fry was leading Murdoch, but he ended up leading it right to the deep safety who stayed at home.
So 3 minutes left to go. Wayne gets a stop. They have a chance to get the football back, but it will be with very little time. And Pinkerton's going to keep it, and he might just go. He's at the 50, 45-40, makes a man, jukes a man, makes him miss, and he's still riding him all the way down to the 22-yard line. And that could very well spell doom for the Pioneers.
It's a 38-yard run for Pinkerton, put him at 141 on the night for a young man that
first start actually didn't even start.
Yeah, right. Technically, he didn't even start. He did not take the first snap.
He took the second snap. But what a young
performance!
Man.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I give credit to the Winfield coaching staff because you can tell that they have prepared him to play not just this week, but all season.
Right. So 1st and 10 from the 22 of Wayne now. Pinkerton will come up under center with twins to the near side. He'll give it off to Miller, who got stuffed behind the line of scrimmage. A great job there by the Pioneer defense, and that was number 30, who was Tristan Turner, who we have called all night long. And some reason Winfield's calling a timeout.
Well, now I'm confused. I don't know what happened.
Why in the world, when you're up 5 with 2:46 to go, you can run if you just let the play clock run out, you get down to 2:06.
I still think he signaled the wrong direction.
I don't think Wayne had any left.
Well, I think I was wrong.
You think they had
I think they have one left. I think that was trying to call the final one.
He signaled at Winfield.
He signaled at Winfield, and that's all you can go by. You can't.
Right.
That's the official signal.
He definitely signaled that to Winfield as calling the timeout. So, I don't know. It's going to be 2nd and about 12. As the ball is brought back to the 24-yard line. So,
and you hope you communicate it because Tom Harmon will think he's out of timeouts.
Yeah. Well, on the scoreboard, which we cannot go by.
No. They don't put the ball on here just like they don't in Scott either.
Right. So shotgun formation for Pinkerton. And he's going to run the football. And somebody, Dameron, grabbed him by the towel that he has on the back of his pants and stopped him, spun him around. And he'll get a loss of a yard. Well, he may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. They are going to give him the 24-yard line. So he got back to not even to the original line of scrimmage, however. So it's 3rd and 11. Clock running with 2:10 to go. Wayne definitely has an opportunity to get this football back, but they've got to get a stop here on the next 2 plays. They cannot allow another first down.
They've been ripping hard at the ball, too, on this possession, just haven't been able to pull it out.
Back to throw. And sacked in the backfield all the way back to the 31-yard line, and that was Colton Mathis, who came from that linebacker position. And now Tom Harmon calls a timeout. So apparently he did have one left. And it's going to bring up 4th down and forever back at the 29-yard line with 1:55 to go. Man, this is a good one, folks.
This is Cardinal Conference Football 2023. These teams are so similar in terms of their caliber across the Winfield team that went to Chapmanville and shut out the Generals last week. Chapmanville and Nitro are in a dogfight right now.
Right.
Scott with a lead, at least at halftime, against Point Pleasant, who's no longer in the league. But still, point being, But the top of this league is good.
Yep. Well, the bottom of this league is not
The
bad.
bottom's not bad either. No, I mean,
I
if
think
you just get into the playoffs out of this league, you are battle tested at the very least. Now, you probably end up with a tough road game, but you are battle tested.
Coach Herman said in the pregame that if you play a Cardinal Conference schedule, you have played a schedule. There is no cupcakes in the Cardinal Conference. Any night, any team. He said he knows his team is perfectly capable of beating anyone in the Cardinal Conference, and they're perfectly capable of getting beat by anyone in the Cardinal Conference.
Tim, do you risk a throw here?
I do not if I am Winfield, because now, well, they're out of timeouts, but it doesn't matter if you don't get it. Here's a pass. It's going to be caught. No, it was dropped. It was right in Pearson's hands. He had a touchdown, and he dropped it. I don't mind to throw the ball there because it's over on downs.
It's fourth down, right?
And the clock's going to stop anyway.
Just don't make a mistake.
Right.
And that was a relatively safe throw. That's not the type that gets picked and run back.
So I didn't mind the throw call there at all because
if it was third
down, you don't do that.
Right.
But a fourth down, and it was a great call because the ball was right there.
That's the first mistake Pearson's made all night. He has been so good tonight.
That should have been a touchdown.
If Wayne makes him pay, boy, that'll be a tough night's sleep for that young man because he has played outstanding football tonight. He should not.
Even if Wayne wins this one, he should not hang his head. He has played exceptional football. Now let's see what Fisher Fry can do with 1:49 to go. Back to throw. Looking to that far side, and he's going to be sacked. Could not get rid of it. Now they need to get up to the line of scrimmage. Lost all the way back to the 19-yard line. It's going to bring up second at about 21 or thereabouts.
Hey, Winfield's playing press coverage outside, no deep safety. If you make a move, you got room to go.
And Murdoch catches the football and makes a move, and he's off to the 45 and runs out of bounds at about the 46-yard line for a first down. He caught that ball in the near hash and found a seam diagonally to the far sideline before running it, and he got out of bounds, which is very, very big. That he was able to get out of bounds, stop the clock. So they don't have to rush to the line here. The clock will not start until the ball is snapped. 1:13 to go. 1st and 10 for the Pioneers. The ball at their own 43-yard line. They send Dameron in motion. Fry looking to throw. Has a man and underthrew Staley. Tulsa scored again. Go up 46-8 with 2:45 left to go in the third. I'm glad I'm not doing that ball game.
They're just about to the running clock.
Close.
They've got the deficit. They just need to get into the fourth quarter.
Once they get there, then it will be a 10-minute game.
I'm telling you, Winfield is playing normal defense right now. And I would not be surprised at all to see a lob up toward Cade East out.
I do that. I think if you play prevent, you're preventing yourself from winning, and that's just my opinion. You got to throw that ball, young man. Oh, it's loose. Are they going to call him down? Fortunately, the referee has ruled that Fisher Fry was down. Why does he not throw that football? You've got to throw it. The loss goes all the way back to the 26-yard line from the 43. 17-yard loss. Fry back to throw. Oh, there's a big hold. It wasn't called. He lets it fly down the center of the field. Staley there, caught it at the 35-yard line. It's caught by he dropped it.
He dropped it on his way to the ground.
Oh, he had the football, and it was Estep who had it. Had it all the way to the ground, but could not haul it in. Wow.
I mean, the Wayne offense was running up. They were ready to go there. That ball was well thrown. Estep did all the hard part except for
tucking it in
when he hit the ground. That ball, I mean, he's having to kind of get out of control to catch the ball. So that was not a controlled fall. Great effort.
Yep.
Great effort.
Oh, well. It's going to be fourth down now.
But you pull this out, they'll never forget it in Wayne.
Fry back to throw. He's going to have to let it fly. He does. And out of the Adkins wanting a flag, but there was no pass interference there. If anything, Adkins probably was the one who interfered with the defender. So Wayne had their chances, folks. And this has just been a good football game. I don't think you hang your head if you're a Wayne Pioneer tonight. You played hard. Take away that first period when the defense just did not show up, honestly.
2 years in a row against Winfield that you outplay them for 3 quarters and you lose the football game.
It was a dandy. So with no timeouts, all Winfield has to do here is just take a knee. Now, will they? I don't know. Coach Smolder doesn't strike me as a man who likes to take a knee, but he may. At the conclusion of this one, we'll have some scores from around the area. Ryan will have stats for you as they do go in victory formation. And that's going to be the final snap of the football game. Your final score here tonight from Winfield High School, the Winfield Generals 26, the Wayne Pioneers 21. And you heard it all right here on the Gridiron Sports Network.
This presentation of Pioneer Football is sponsored by Rustic Ravines. Rustic Ravines offers deluxe cabin rentals and special event planning, as well as some of the best ATV riding and hiking trails in the country. You'll also find kayaking and canoeing, a 3D bow range, fishing, hunting, golfing, and a pet and horse-friendly resort. Rustic Ravines can be found on Facebook or 304-385-1085.
In the fabric of America, they are the toughest threads, our bravest, and most selfless. They raised their hands, stepped forward, and served for each other, for you, and me. One of the first things they learned was the code that every service member lives by. Leave no one behind. Now all of us need to live by it too, because some veterans are being left behind. 20 of them take their own lives every day.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place finish first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined.
I am disciplined, physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
Enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
You're listening to high school football action on Sports Radio 90.7 WFGH.
Tim Carper, Ryan Epling back with you here in the fifth quarter as the Winfield Generals defeat the Wayne Pioneers tonight. Final score 26-21. And with the stats and highlights from this one, here's my broadcast partner, Ryan Epling. Right?
Excellent ball game. The stats are going to be a little wonky because of sacks, but in terms of team stats. But here's how it went for Wayne tonight on the ground. Colton Mathis, 12 carries, 44 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jackson Dameron, 10 carries, 39 yards. Rylan Murdoch, 2 carries for 8 yards. Caden Hayton, 1 carry, 1 yard. Fisher Fry officially, a lot of officials, Fisher Fry, 8 carries, minus 41. But again, sacks played a role in that, right, including lost 27 yards in sacks on the final drop.
Fumble snap as well.
And a fumbled snap that lost 14. So, I mean, that it adds up, but right, that's how it is. Ronnie Staley had 2 carries for minus 2 yards. Fry through the air, 9 of 21 for 146 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Receiving, Wayne threw the ball to 6 receivers tonight, and for the first time since I've statted Wayne games, I had to go below the line to get all the receivers in there for Wayne. But Ronnie Staley, 2 catches, 45 yards. KD Step, 1 catch, 22 yards. Rylan Murdoch, 2 for 34. Colton Mathis, 1 for 11. Grady Spradlin, 2 for 31 and a touchdown. Jackson Dameron, 1 catch for 3 yards. Wayne, as a team, 35 carries, 49 yards.
Wow.
And a total of 195 yards of total offense tonight. For Winfield, led on the ground, balanced between the running back and between the quarterback and the tailback on the ground. K'Wan Pearson, 12 carries, 139 yards, and a touchdown. Easton Pinkerton, 17 carries, 136 yards, and a touchdown. Jace Miller, 8 carries, 23 yards. Matthew Daly, 4 carries, 7 yards. And the blocked punt, which counted as team rushing stats, minus 6 yards there. So Winfield, 42 carries, 299 yards on the ground tonight. Through the air, Pinkerton, 7 of 11 for 98 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He did not make the big mistake all night. He played very well for a backup in his first career game in which he played most of at quarterback.
I'm calling it a start.
Yeah, we'll call it a start. But yeah, he was outstanding tonight. And receiving, Aiden Hernandez might have been the X factor tonight. He ends up with 5 catches, 76 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He was kind of the one guy Wayne could not account for no matter what they did. And I think that helped get Pinkerton and Pearson a little bit of extra room through the course of the evening as well. Toby Lawfrey, 1 catch, 21 yards. Jace Miller had 2 catches for 1 yard. And both of those were of the inverted option variety, where it was just a little pitch forward to him out of an option type of set. Winfield as a team, 397 yards of total offense. The Generals, 7 penalties, 68 yards. Wayne, 2 penalties for 8 yards. There were only 2 turnovers in the game. Interceptions by Tanner and by Pinkerton for Winfield. It all adds up to a 26-21 Winfield win over the Pioneers as the Generals go to 3-1. Wayne drops to 1-2 in a very, very challenging Cardinal Conference.
No doubt about that one. Thank you very much, Ryan. We'll take a break, come back, and wrap things up as the 5th quarter continues here on the Gridiron Sports Network.
This presentation of Pioneer Football is sponsored by Rustic Ravines. Rustic Ravines offers deluxe cabin rentals and special event planning, as well as some of the best ATV riding and hiking trails in the country. You'll also find kayaking and canoeing, a 3D bow range, fishing, hunting, golfing, and a pet and horse-friendly resort. Rustic Ravines can be found on Facebook or 304-385-1085.
You're listening to high school football action on 90.7 WFGH.
Well, it's going to wrap things up for us here tonight from the Gridiron Sports Network. Once again, your final score this evening, Winfield defeats the Wayne Pioneers 26-21. Next week, we'll be at home to take on Nitro, the Wildcats. Is that right? Nitro Wildcats?
The Nitro Wildcats.
The Nitro Wildcats. We got a lot of Wildcats on our schedule.
And a lot of red and white teams, too.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Unfortunately, Ryan has other duties, so he will not be able to join us on the air.
I will be there.
He will be there.
Hey, if you want to hear me, you got to go to the game. How about that?
Well, or I could.
And
I could put a crowd mic.
No, the way that speaker is right where you're located, it's a little overwhelming, and I apologize for that. There's nothing I can do about that.
Well, that's how it goes. We're not worried about that. But yeah, that'll be fine. We will be there for the Nitro game, and we will have. I think that's a 7 o'clock start. I think the rest of our starts are 7 o'clock. The Scott game was kind of an anomaly where they started at 7:30. I prefer the 7 o'clock start.
And it is homecoming. Yes, absolutely. I prefer 7 o'clock as well. It is homecoming next week, and it's been 100 years since Wayne played their first football game, so there's a lot of celebration going in with that with homecoming this year. I know that teachers who have retired or even went on to teach elsewhere are all invited back. They have a full faculty, reunion that they're holding out back behind the school. If it rains, they'll find a spot inside.
Right.
But They want to get everybody that they can to come back, and it's not that you come back to watch a football game. You come back to see each other. This is a social event.
Exactly.
And you see a good football game, too, while you're there.
Football happens to be being played at
yes.
time. But this team, even though they're 1-2, they are an exciting football team to watch. And
they have heart. I mean, we've seen it for the last two weeks. They fight. They fight.
They played 2 top 10 teams. So and they've lost tonight by 5, last week by 10. So I mean, they're right there. And last week's score was a little bit of a misnomer. That was more of a 3 to 5 point ball game. But nonetheless, Coach Tom Harmon will still say we still lost.
Yeah.
Whether it's by 5 or 500. So they've got to get back on the winning track, and hopefully against Nitro they can do that next week.
Had a possession here tonight where Wayne lined up in the old-fashioned wing T and just drove the ball down the field. Had a possession where they spread the ball out and moved it down the field. So we saw a little bit of everything from them tonight in terms of what they can do, what they can be. Just got to clean up a few little things. He talked about in the pregame about, we're seeing a lot of little mistakes.
87 negatives last week. A lot of them are just little things that they can tweak, and you cut that down to 50, you win some ball games.
Right,
so
absolutely. And those are little things that separate teams, because these teams are very similar to one another in terms of, when I say, I don't mean just Wayne and Winfield. I mean Scott, I mean Herbert Hoover, even though Scott dropped 50 on them, that's still a good Hoover team, and they're getting back together. And they lost their first 2 games last year and played for the state championship.
Yeah,
so, that'll be a tough game on down the road. Nitro, they got a quarterback coming in next week who set a state record with 11 touchdown passes in a game earlier this year. Now, the fact that he threw that in an 84-0 game against their rival St. Albans is its own thing. But he's a transfer in, look, it is what it is. Winfield was popped for recruiting violations in the offseason. They had a coach that was suspended for a game or so, and they're under sanctions, basically, where they're on probation, so to speak.
They still get to go to playoffs and stuff.
I mean, the kids all get to play.
Yeah.
And some people tell you pop for recruiting. They got hit for, wearing pads. Yeah, their practice schedule was
they're allowed to have pads, they wore
and that's actually a minor infraction in the grand scheme of things. But those rules are there for a reason.
Exactly.
So, I mean, those are 3 out of 4 ball games that are against teams that got hit.
Yeah.
And you're not one of them. So, it is what it is. You got to bear down and you got to go. And I thought that what we saw in that first drive of the second half was really the way you attack not just tonight's game, but life in general. It was hard. Wayne could not run the ball in the first half.
No.
So what they do? They found a way to run the ball.
They did, and they went back old school. And a lot of people say, well, that wing tee, it's so boring, blah, blah. You watch this wing tee, it's not boring. It's not something that Coach Harmon is tied to, which you said, they took 7.5 minutes off the clock, marched down, mostly running the football, all 13 plays, ran the ball every down, scored. Next play, next series, they're throwing the ball all over the place and moving the football. Yeah. So you won't be disappointed, folks, if you come out next Friday night and watch the Wayne Pioneers. Come out and support them. Homecoming, as Ryan
we'll crown a homecoming queen, and it'll be, see some friends that you haven't seen in a while. Have a good time.
I hope to see a few folks that I've met over the last few years that may come out. If you do, come up to the booth and say howdy, Ryan. I don't care. It's open.
Just don't ask me to move a car.
Yeah, don't
no, I will.
Don't
but
ask
I mean,
me to say happy birthday on the radio.
No, and we don't do birthdays because everybody has the same. Like your birthday comes every year, so it's just the same people over and over again. And I mean,
and if you do for one, you got to do for 50.
I was born in June, and I never got my birthday announced anywhere. So maybe I'm bitter.
May, same way. They never cared about my birthday.
That's right.
That's going to wrap it up for us here tonight from Winfield High School. Once again, your final score: the Winfield Generals 26, Wayne Pioneers 21. Coming up next, it's game night here on the Gridiron Sports Network. Or you can also turn over to our other station, and I believe the Spring Valley Hurricane game is still going on, so you can catch that one with Randy Payton, Rick Marone, Coach Danny Mayo. Right here on the Gridiron Sports Network, this is Tim Carper from our broadcast partner, Ryan Epling, saying God bless everyone. Have a great weekend, and watch for deer.
The real Don Steele. Live from the 60s. All right. I'm going to tell you, you can't listen to this one sitting down. So